All right. Oh, did you get a couple of those,
I think it would be a combination of educating the public
One
and the
was
resources we have, and sending that to fire.
they'll show up on.
This is what EMA can do, so it's a marketing tool.
Good point.
Yeah.
So,
Let's do one of those
because I
rosters.
think we already have the setup to do.
Oh, yeah.
I've only used
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for the Penobscot County Commissioners meeting of September 24th, 2025. At this point, I will call the roll. Commissioner Trumbull? Here. Commissioner Marshall? Here. Mr. Treasurer? Here. And the chair is present. I would ask for a motion to, I would ask first that you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, led by the Treasurer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point, I will ask for a motion regarding approval of the minutes from the August 27th workshop and our September 3rd, 2025 meeting.
I move we approve the minutes of August 27th and September 3rd.
Have a motion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous. At this point, we will open public comment. We allow up to 3 minutes for someone to speak with us regarding an issue that may not be on the agenda. I believe present we have Mr. Rogers. Tim, if you would like to share your comments, you're welcome to come forward. You're welcome to come forward if you would like.
Right here.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity to share. What I'm going to talk about is related to the opioid update you're going to have today, and have a vision of programs to empower valuable members of our community. You know, I've had many opportunities that have, I'm going to read a little bit and then I'll live. That have brought me to the belief that the overall health of our society depends on how much support the folks who are the most seriously challenged by poor physical and mental health or substance use are treated with dignity and respect. Each human being has value to the community where they live. Utilizing each person's strengths in combination with agape love, which you can Google that. There's many definitions, but I look at it as a deliberate commitment to others' well-being, and peer support gives people hope with their lives, that their lives will have meaning and value to society. Letting people languish in squalor and inhumane conditions is a symptom of societal stigma. You know, I envision a multifaceted empowerment community built on and adding to present-day services that are already out there for folks that are struggling with their opioid use. Peer support is really very essential at every point of engagement in my little vision. Syringe services, and I've seen that happen where I've been working, volunteering. Syringe services programs, SSPs, are extremely important in preventing the spread of viruses that cause AIDS and hepatitis C. Hope-building opportunities will play a big role in empowerment of this community that's really struggling, particularly with the stigma of opioid use. And breaking down the stigma that keeps challenged individuals living in the woods or couch surfing is key to their progress. Our empowerment community, that we already have an empowerment community, but there's other programs we could add to that. In my vision, will uplift many people seeking hope of one day becoming a productive member of their community. Participants will strengthen our communities with their talents by finding employment and or advancing their education. I've seen a lot of strategies that have worked, and particularly while employed, about building people's hope through use of talents and strengths. And I spent a few years working for community health and counseling services, and with the help from coworkers and support of the leadership, we developed, in collaboration with the University of Maine as well, we developed a program in 2000 that was called Breaking Down the Barriers and Strengths in Our Community. And we had activities that included art, music, sports. Even at the University of Maine, they came down and did some volleyball teaching, the women's volleyball team, and utilizing their outdoor recreation program, zip lines and things like that. And this activity was it really empowered the folks that we worked with that had really some serious mental illnesses move on and take better care of themselves. And the music part of that, they had long-term effects on how they felt really a lot more hopeful. And there was the music group that It was called The Notables, lasted 11 years, but they kept going. And even one time they got invited by Arlo Guthrie to open up for a concert that he did here. One of the big pieces that I see that is missing, because we have some really great SSPs, my time isn't running out too quickly, that really do a great job, but controversial thought, the stigma is really a big deal to this community. I kind of compare it to folks that are addicted to alcohol. In the turn of the century, there was a lot of stigma against them, even they shut down the production. But over time, that stigma has gone away as we see that people that are addicted can still be productive persons in our community. I view this, really the big holdback is the lack of a substance use site that would allow people to stay safe. They would get their substance that they use, that just allows them, and there would be connections with other programs in that site. And that's really a piece that's really missing that I think would push forward and reduce the stigma of folks that are in our community. And there are other I've been to other retreats and led other retreats that focus on HIV, folks that are living with HIV, and they're very powerful when you provide hope. And in closing, I just envision a future in which our local communities see all human beings as important, talented human resources, where death by accidental overdose is eliminated, stigma is overcome, and no one is left behind. And I just say onward and upward to all of you who strive to help our neighbors and friends, and thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all, very well
Thank
stated.
you
Thank you.
for the information you provided us by email as well.
Okay, I have an updated version.
Thank you. At this point, I believe we have Luke Sakara Flanders. Are you present, either online or with us here in the room?
I just have one online.
That's Janet? Yeah, okay. At this point then, we would entertain comments from Janet Drew. Morning, Janet.
Hello. Did it unmute yet?
You're off.
Hello.
Go right ahead, please.
Okay. Janet Drew, York. I'm a retired nurse. I agree wholeheartedly with everything the first speaker said. And looking at your agenda for today, which is looking at the next year's budget and the opioid money, and then of course the new correctional facility, I have to shake my head and wonder why you think that's the best building to build. Why not a safe space? Why not transitional housing? If you're so intent on building something, why don't you build something that supports people? How many people have to come before the three of you, or however many there are, and say people need support, affirmation to get better? They don't need to be kicked in the teeth. I'm done. Thank you very much. I hope one.
Look.
I think we lost you. Okay. At this point, is there anyone else who wishes to make a public comment? Seeing none, at this point I will close public comment and invite the UT director and assistant to, I guess it's.
It's just, that's right, it's just
Deputy
Tina
director.
today. Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Just the deputy.
George is on a well-deserved
Very smooth.
vacation.
Oh, he is?
See how with her in charge, we transitioned right exactly to the time for the.
Impressive.
Public hearing.
Unbelievable, yeah. Oh,
Good morning.
public fix, George.
Good morning. So we've got a public hearing at 10:10.
And it appears that in 5 seconds it will be 10:10, and I will then call the
Yep.
meeting to order. At some point, I might like my gavel back, but
You misbehaved last meeting, if I recall, so we took it away.
a special gift.
Oh, you want it? Would you like?
Yeah,
Oh, this is a better one.
it is. Oh, no, this is the
No, that's the
judge's.
same one.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you're qualified to use that one. Don't tell.
Yeah, this is probably, I'll have to be careful with this. I can't be doing what they do in
Yeah.
Augusta,
right.
cutting the head off. The other one was given to us as a gift from the legislature. So I would like to find that here. Back to opening the meeting. At this point, I would open the public hearing regarding 5 Lakes Lodge, South Twin Lake, which is T4. their liquor license renewal, and do you have any information to share with us regarding that?
They've had their license for quite some time. I think this is their third renewal. I did reach out to, John Knapp, and there have been no issues in that area
Great.
with that facility.
And all the paperwork is in order to your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak in favor of the liquor license renewal for Five Lakes Lodge? Seeing that, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, anyone who wishes to make comment neither for nor against? Seeing none, at this point I will close the hearing.
Approval of the license application.
We have a motion to approve
Second.
and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Yes.
A question on the renewals. I think the state changed the process a few years ago. Can we do it so if it's a renewal, it can just be approved by you, it doesn't have to come? I think you do it so it doesn't have to come to us every renewal, unless it's an issue.
I think state law requires it.
It used to, but we don't get them a bag renewal, right? They changed, I think, during COVID. So I mean, unless there's an issue, that'd be okay. Didn't they not come back to us?
Okay,
I don't know
maybe
why
you could
we're
look into that and just verify.
Okay, yeah.
Other items, I believe we are here for the blessed presentation of the budget. Department.
Department 14, commissioners.
We didn't have a lot of changes. You'll see under services, computer services, did go up. However, we took it out of the office equipment. We were actually paying for Wix, which is our website,
Okay.
and Grammarly out of the office equipment. So we just moved it over under computer services.
Okay.
The traveling expenses, the mileage went down, because usually I'm with George anytime we have to go somewhere. Once in a while, I will have to go on my own, but it's not often, and not as many trainings anymore either that I.
So we don't provide him mileage where we provide vehicle?
Well, when I take my own vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because there's
but
sometimes
if he
that,
were to go and you traveled with him, that is,
that's all included in, yes.
okay.
Yep. And then the only other one was the subscriptions. Down at the bottom, went up just because subscription prices are going up, increasing, so.
And are these are subscriptions to publications or services?
Publications, Bangor Daily News and Lincoln News.
Okay. And are those subscriptions the paper copies that are delivered, or is there an online component?
The Lincoln News is paper. The Bangor Daily News, I think I'm gonna see about just doing it online.
We buy the paper, you automatically get the online.
Yeah.
With bag.
Okay. Can you get the online one without
Yeah.
paying? You can. Okay.
Just a question on this overall budget, because I need a refresher.
Sure.
This is completely paid by the UT, right?
I believe this is the portion that the county absorbs for the UT services. There is a separate UT budget that we will look at later on that will include a number of other items related to the services we provide there.
I think this is the same department, it used to be roads and mapping.
Oh, roads and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll look and see overall, commissioners, is a 2.6 reduction.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, well, a lot of it driven by a couple of corrections up top in the payroll lines. And if you want to scoot back to revenues, you've got even more good news.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that, because there is some
Yeah.
positive news when it comes to road
Yep.
agent fees.
Yep, so, yep, you want me to touch on those, Tina? Yep, so in conversation with George, we talked about it last year, but the timing, as you know, the timing of the UT budget is well ahead of ours. They want us to project, 2 or 3 years out in advance. So this year, we've increased the road agent fee through, this is paid through the UT budget, Commissioner Trumbull. And as well, under other revenues, you'll see an additional revenue from the what's the word, cannabis application that's currently,
And those become general fund revenues, not designated in any way?
we may want to look into that, I believe so. But yeah, George would have a better answer on that.
Those, would you clarify that? That goes into the general fund or the UT general fund?
No, this is in the counties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would be, I'm talking about the revenues, additional revenue would go to the UT or would it go to the county, just the county budget?
This revenue is reflected in the portion that is the county budget.
Right,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah.
So
That
I think,
We'll have George.
That'll clarify, yeah, okay,
that's probably a discussion we want to have corporately with the other commissions as to what's going on to understand, because I'm not sure we need to encourage the state to absorb any of that in the area that we're still trying to understand,
oh, I think the state needs all the help it can get.
not financially.
No monetary, yeah.
I was being
I
facetious.
understand. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled
Yep.
broadcast.
So again, my recommendation at this point, commissioners, is to not take any vote. Just simply recognize, take it under advisement. That's simply because it becomes very complicated later on. We have some tough decisions to make, and I think we should leave all options open for us from as simple a process as possible.
Does the commission concur on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We take it under
We
advisement.
would take a motion to take it under advisement, correct?
I wouldn't even do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair
just,
enough.
yeah.
All right. We appreciate your diligence on this. Thank you for your time. I believe you have some other items?
Just the agenda and the map for our meeting, our tour of the UT. So George came up with a tentative agenda. And on the map, the ones that are highlighted in the reddish pink are the townships we're gonna visit during the tour. And the green highlights all our townships.
Any particular clothing that we should consider, like boots or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Still bird season.
Snowshoes
so I
maybe,
need-
but-
I need orange.
Okay,
Yeah, orange,
Yeah.
right?
Just casual, comfortable.
okay.
Yep. We plan on picking up lunch and eating on the road.
Great.
We'll pick you up in Lincoln, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll circle around, and Commissioner Marshall will drop him off in his truck, and they'll head north to the meeting, and go from there.
And do you have details on the meeting yet, or is that still in the works? Okay, that's not your
No.
circus.
No.
Okay. Who is coordinating the meeting?
I believe it's been coordinated through my position, Mary Ann's been helping me. We've had positive response. I had one email this morning, a gentleman and made a couple of suggestions as to others to invite that I will forward to Charlie Prey. It seems as though he's kind of organizing up there, and it's my understanding, which I think will be very beneficial for the commissioners, is they're kind of organizing some ideas to present to the commission.
I spoke with Debbie Roundtree today, they're hosting the meeting. I think the time is between 6 and 7, is that what?
Yeah, I think we're targeting for 6. Yeah.
And will we be eating at that meeting, or will we need to eat before?
I think our
We'll
plan,
meet
yeah,
before.
we're gonna plan
Yeah.
to meet before that, so we kind of, try and wrap up around 4:30-ish.
Is there anything the commissioners need to be prepared to present to them, or we're just hearing from them as to their needs?
I think we need to hear what they have to say. I mean, again, this, the meeting has a lot of different tentacles on it.
I guess
So
if
for
you've
me to
been
give
asked to
you,
organize the meeting, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
clarify who's responsible for the meeting. Since it seems to me there are agencies that want to meet with us, we're going to them.
yeah,
I appreciate their hosting it, but they should provide us an understanding of what their agenda is, so we're prepared to to discuss what they want.
I'll see what they've got gathered up.
Okay. Okay, I think you understand. I don't expect you to coordinate other people's business.
Well, yeah, well, we can talk about this afterwards. Yeah,
Well, we asked for a meeting.
No, we didn't.
No,
We
no,
didn't.
I asked for a meeting.
Okay.
Well, didn't I ask for a meeting? Did they come forward and ask for a meeting? I thought I asked for it. When we decided not to fund that position, so why don't we have a meeting at the end of this day and talk about the issues up there?
yes, that is accurate. Again, as with, so the meeting kind of took off on its own.
This is
Has
taking.
somebody reached out from up there as well and asked for a meeting? I don't know, that's what I'm hearing, yeah,
Well,
that they reached out as well, so they come up there.
There are a number
Well-
of groups that now want to be part of this.
Oh, they want to be part of the meeting, but they didn't
Right.
ask for the
I
meeting.
I met with them at the KRDB meeting, they invited me, I went, we discussed it, I think they indicated the meeting would be there, would be tied into our UT trip.
Right.
And, but I don't think any particular agenda had been forwarded yet, that needs to be.
no,
We need an
yeah,
agenda for-
you had suggested a meeting, Commissioner, and outlined that it could take place on, and then as the conversation developed with others, again, with EMDC involved, kind of started coordinating the meeting, but again, the commissioners gave no real direction as to what you wanted to talk about in the meeting, which is really difficult for me to explain to the public, and answer your questions when.
Well, my thought was, if we're gonna eliminate or downgrade this funding for this position, what do they think the needs are? How can we work with it? How can the county work with them on regional economic development? And, I mean, every group wants something, we provide a lot up there already. But if there's a way we can continue to help regional economic development and either phase out or eliminate, and we've got the PILT money, but
Right.
no, I just want to get the discussion on the table, that
Right.
that money's going away that we've been providing, and they all need to be aware of it. Right now, I don't think everybody's, actually, the decision hasn't officially been made.
Correct.
Not everybody's aware we're moving in that direction.
Correct. And I think that is the base of the discussion. Yeah.
I think getting everyone to understand the dynamics of this so that there's, even if people are not happy with the decision.
Yeah, I didn't want to be
they
blindsided,
understand.
that's all, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's, I think, an appropriate time since the deadline for this. We have extended that contract 2 more years over the original, so we have provided funding for 7 years.
Right.
But there are other things that.
End of this year?
End of this year.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, I just wanted to bring that up because I felt like there were a lot of cooks in the kitchen and you were being asked to do things without clarity from.
Maybe at next week, we
But,
have a meeting
I mean,
next Wednesday.
honest, yeah, I think it's developed into what you want, but yeah, well,
But George will be here next week, right?
right.
Yeah, so we can nail down the
All right,
agenda.
Okay,
super.
yeah.
Thank you for that. Okay, anything else, Tina?
That's it.
Great, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next up, I didn't see the sheriff. Oh, we do need to enter another agenda item.
Yeah.
We can do this right before we go to the executive session, but I would ask your approval to add an item which would end up being, I think, item M, which would allow the sheriff to present a request related to equipment and use of ARPA funds.
Correct.
That's the pleasure of the commission?
Yeah.
Okay,
Fine.
vote unless doubted. All right, at this point, Pat Trimble, thank you for being here. You're welcome. If you would be kind enough to come forward and share with us what you have.
I give my apologies in advance for Jamie Beck, who is the chair of the committee, but she had a conflict. So I am here representing the Commissioners Committee on the opiate settlement funding. So you were sent, I believe, in advance, the application, the scoring rubric, and some other pieces of information that we thought would be helpful in just giving you some education. But the main purpose for here today is we wanted to share the application with you, get your initial approval for that, so we can move this process forward. You saw a draft a while ago, you asked for some changes, and we adjusted those and made those changes, but we're trying to make the application as is formative, but as simple We don't want people to be like, "Oh, this is just crazy making." So we're trying to make it simple. And so you have it before you. Again, it consists of a little bit of the history of why you're receiving the opiate funds and what we have. That we're approximately looking at about $400,000. And we have 3 tiers that we're looking at in distributing that money. So we talked a little bit about the history, a little bit about geographics of that, a lot of what we're looking at in scoring these applications is that it follow the opiate settlement requirements, which is under Exhibit E, I believe, in the settlement. And again, it's pretty simple, and it's looking at, if I look at it, what we're attempting to do with this is that in the settlement, they talk about the 4 pillars, which is prevention, treatment, recovery, and harm reduction. And so what we're looking at is really people to apply in those 4 pillars and how that looks. We will score them according to a scoring rubric that the Moss Center, those who aren't familiar with the Moss Center, that is the Maine opiate settlement services that the Attorney General took some of his funds to establish. So it's a free service for us. So we can use them for technical assistance and help us through the process. They were very helpful in, I apologize in advance for this print. They were very helpful in scoring it. In the score, we are very clear in the scoring of it, in the application process, that the score is only a portion of the award. That certainly your score will matter, but we're also going to look at geography to make sure that everything doesn't end in one part of Penobscot County, that there's a whole, there's a lot of different gaps that people have in their communities within Penobscot County. We want to make sure that that's served. We also asked in the application, did they receive other funding? Because we know that the Recovery Council gave funding to programs, as well as the Attorney General has money. So we asked if you received, and the cities have money. So we asked if you received money, are you supporting the same project or is it a different project? Just so we know that we're not duplicating the funding that's out there. One of the things in the settlement that's confusing to me sometimes is that there are those pockets of money, but there's no real talk about how we coordinate that. And so we're hoping that the Moss Center with gathering that information will be helpful. So again, we will score that applications. We will then make recommendations. And of course, the final say in all of that goes with you as the commissioners. We're only, as you know, here to make a recommendation as to what we've found and how we scored it. And so if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
From the commission. Have we set a limit on these first round?
Yeah, it's a 1 year.
Have a dollar limit?
Yeah, the dollar limit is, the highest you can get is $49,999.
So, I mean, I say you get inundated with applications.
Oh, yeah.
You've got somebody that say, this is a great application, they want the maximum amount, we really can't fund it. At that point, do you think this committee would reach out to the city and say, listen, we can do 25, and the city do 25 if it's something that's centric to Bangor? So,
yeah, again, we narrowed it down basically to $50,000, as well as, there's a written in here that one per agency, that one agency can't ask for several.
That would never happen, Pat.
Oh, but it does. Served on the United Way for a long time. But so, again, so that's what we're trying to avoid. Certainly, if there's a project in there worthwhile that we think we can't fund totally, but we think Bangor may be interested, as well as the Maine Recovery Council or the Attorney General's office has funding, to be able to look at that. Again, that's that part that is sometimes hard to look at, is that there really wasn't a way for all of us to report to each other. And I know that it's an administrative burden to do it, but we're going to be able to do that now, that the counties and the cities will be able to, the Moss Center will have a reporting requirement, and they'll gather the information to do that. But we certainly are open to talk to people.
because really, something, there's a program Millinock or Lincoln that's successful, it's gonna benefit Bangor, because if they're not successful, I think a lot of those people are up for services in Bangor.
Yeah.
So, another question, in Tim Rogers' presentation, he talked about in the early 2000s, what they did at CHCS, I can't remember the name of the program, but it was physical activity and artwork and things like that. And it might have been kind of a diversion thing, but I think if you look at some of the Norwegian countries, it's very helpful with the youth in prevention over there. So I think when people think about these funds, they think about treatment programs. I don't think people think about them as much as prevention. And if there were youth activities that we could support in the communities or art programs, I think the research shows that this is very successful in preventing kids from,
Well, it does, it's talk about engaging youth
Right.
in healthy activities, and all of those, if you look at Exhibit E in the settlement, all of those are allowable expenses. That if you're having a program that builds leadership, if you're a program that builds the arts in order to learn to better deal with life stressors and.
Yeah, no, Gordon Smith has talked about why the whys are so
Correct.
important to the area.
And so they are encouraged, I hope that if they're listening in, that they apply, that the Ys and the other community boys and girls clubs, those are people that, particularly in regards to prevention, we often neglect prevention. The difficulty with prevention is a year grant is sometimes hard for them. Prevention is a long-term commitment versus a short-term. But certainly, again, it's one of the things that, in full disclosure, I chair the Maine Recovery Council. When we granted our last round of grants, we were very clear. We wanted to make sure that all of the 4 pillars received funding, because we believe all of them are important. And so we looked at that when we, not just the scores, but looked at, prevention programs for our youth and making sure that they're part of that. Again, treatment, recovery, and harm reduction, all of it. But again, it's hard to say what's going to happen because you don't know who's going to apply for the funding. And again, one of the questions we wanted, again, adamant to ask was, where do you receive other funding, particularly in the opiate settlement? So we're not duplicating.
Any questions, Commissioner?
No, commend you. I love the application process compared to the state. It's elementary, 101. I do not want them spending money to hire a grant manager at $3,000 to get a $5,000 grant. Keep it simple, keep it professional. You've done an admirable job. I like the 4 pillars you set that is standard. But I do look at the harm reduction. We've looked at a couple of things here. I agree with the needle community pickup programs, possible funding, but the needle exchange, distribution, and buyback, that would be a major problem with me. That's not something I could or would support, and I don't know how the other commissioners feel about that, but we have a limited amount of resources, and so rather than hold up false hope for these organizations to submit applications in that area, I wanted to go on record, let people know exactly where I stand. I don't know, the other commissioners have their positions, and I would think that if we are in agreement, that we limit the needle harm reduction to community pickup programs and the like, rather than distribution, buyback, which is insanity, or exchange. Those are areas I think that we really need to look at, and the other commissioners, I think, should make a decision on whether or not they think these should be included in the granting process.
So can I ask a clarifying question? Is that okay? So when you say, are you saying that the SSPs wouldn't be applying because they do other work besides the needle exchange or the buybacks?
No, I'm saying if it's directly specified for these purposes. These are going to be specified grants, and it doesn't matter if an organization provides that service, so long as the monies we provide don't go to that service that are used in other approved areas. That's fine. That's why I asked the scope of the harm reduction. I support harm reduction. I did meet when I first became commissioner. I went over to one of the harm reduction and sat down with them. I told them exactly what I just told you. But I said, I understand that they may need a vehicle to get their people to treatment. I would be very willing to support buying a vehicle to get their people to treatment. But, and for the pickup purposes. But there are other organizations that adequately distribute needles and exchange needles. And I think that has caused problems in a host of other communities we're now seeing in the news, and it poses a public health I do not want to contribute.
I hear you. I probably don't agree with that, but that's okay, because I see things differently. I don't know if you know my background. I spent 30 plus years working in the field of substance use disorders. I look at programs like needle exchanges as, in a medical term, as CPR. That sometimes CPR doesn't cure anything, it doesn't treat it, it temporarily gets you to be alive, so then we can get you to a place where you can get help. Again, I'm always concerned about Bangor right now, particularly with the outbreak of HIV, that you can directly correlate it to needles. And so that concerns me. Again, I'm only one person. I respect that it is an area that people don't always agree on, and that certainly is the final vote, how you do that. But and I respect that you're saying it out loud so that so people know that's not the kind of thing that you particularly would vote on. But again, I know that the SSPs who do a lot of that work do amazing work, and it's not just about needle exchange, but it is about engagement. And it's about getting people where they need to be to get the help they are, but they keep them alive. And we do know that people are on the street dying alone. And that's, that is the gist of where this money came from, because people were dying. We were lied to and manipulated by pharmaceutical companies. And to use a word I really don't like, this is blood money. And it is our duty, I believe, to spend it to keep people alive. And what do we do to keep people alive? And then also in that, how do we help them get to a place, a healthy place? Too many people have died. Too many people have lost loved ones. So this money, you have a real chance to do really good things with this money. It's a gift. And in all the years I worked in substance use, I begged, borrowed, and steal for money. This is a gift I wished we didn't get, because people would be alive, but we do have it, and I encourage you to use it as best that you think your community will. And I think this application, in the process, you're able to do that. I mean, you have the final say, but that's, again, I don't mean to project my opinion.
That's what we want.
I don't think we would have invited you if we didn't value your input. So, I mean,
This is well enough that I have to say it.
And this is a free exchange. From my perspective, I think the value of having community members who have the experience that you do, and we've got the double win in that you have seen this on a statewide basis as well. To me, one of the key things is that there's integration in addressing the problem. So I would just be curious what the other groups that are convened that are working to allocate opioid settlement funds. Bangor, I believe the hospitals have some stake in this.
They don't have funds, do they?
No, I don't think the hospitals do.
They were not parties to the lawsuit.
Well, they actually tried to prevent us from entering into the lawsuit when we started it, because they were named in the
But
lawsuit.
they aren't, so the major key are the counties have money, some of the towns have money, the ones that signed on to it. There's also money that's going to school systems, but that money it's been allocated yet, because the way the statute works is a little complicated, as always. And so there's actually, the Recovery Council has a subcommittee that's working to develop how we will get the money to the schools. But there's a portion, 12% of the, is it 12? I can't remember. Some of the Maine Recovery Council money has been set aside for school systems to help with special ed. That's the definition. And so we have a subcommittee currently working for that purpose.
Approximately 12% of the state's 50%, or the 70%?
It's the 40% of the Recovery Council gets. they have a portion of the Recovery Council money. So the Attorney General's office gets some, the Recovery Council has the majority of it, cities that signed on, and counties.
So counties, as I understood, were in the 30% category.
I think so.
The Attorney General is in the 20% category. And the Recovery Council is getting 40. Where's the other 10 go?
I wonder if we get 40 and then the 10 is the school. That I can't answer you, but I can get you that answer.
I mean, it doesn't directly impact us, but it's, I think, in understanding the process, it's helpful for people to recognize. And I would certainly encourage you, if you've not had the opportunity to do so, to engage and maybe, if appropriate, have a meeting with the Bangor Opioid Committee.
They did.
Okay, great.
I didn't attend, Jamie attended, and we did, I'm on camera, but I'll say it. They're a little slower than us, so.
Well, there is no deadline to spend this money.
Correct, but we wanted to get the grants out. So we have spoke to Bangor. Bangor's doing a letter of intent kind of process to do theirs. We're doing it a little different. We're not doing a letter of intent. We're going right to the applications, but we are talking to them. We also reached out to the town of Orono, gets funds. We also reached out to them. And those are the two that we have reached out to.
Was the university a plaintiff, to your knowledge?
It's the town of Orono, got it, not the university.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see it in the broader picture of what we are trying to do as the county association. Anything where we can collaborate with our municipal partners is, I feel, a win-win.
Yeah.
Did you have something?
Just to
else?
say, so you get the sense of where we're coming from. I don't want to preclude anybody from any application. I'd like to hear what the recommendations are. I mean, I guess I probably have some things I definitely wouldn't find that I don't think it would be. Well, there's not allowed in the state law now anyway. I know Mr. Rogers mentioned safe injection sites.
It's not.
I wouldn't find those if they were allowed, so they're not allowed. But so that's where I'm looking forward to the rest.
Yeah, we're looking for money that can be, again, I know that the safe injection sites are not currently, I mean, for us to, I'll say this publicly, as I look at that award, these are only one-year awards.
Right.
So it wouldn't make sense to allow a one-year award to a safe injection site when it can't be up and running in a year. We want these funds to be spent within the year, and then be able to report back to you, this is where we spent the money, this is the impact that your money had on the community. And then the second year, when we look at it, we'll see what happens. Was this the best way to do it? If not, what would have been better? Would have been better to combine the Bangor, Orono, all of those together, do a large thing. So again, this is just our first attempt at looking to see what works.
Since we are receiving ongoing funds, and there's still, I believe, a settlement with the Sacklers.
Yeah, there's still some settlement money, yeah.
Has the committee had any discussion about whether there'd be an advantage to offering a certain amount of this money in a longer term, maybe a 2-3 year grant program that could facilitate? And I think we've got to first see what we get.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like what we went through with ARPA. We had no basis on which to build. And we eventually evolved to the Commissioners Fund, which I think you're familiar with, where each district had $300,000 that we allocated in up to $50,000 grants. And it was a simple application that allowed for just some very important things to be accomplished. My favorite is still Maxfield, Maine, where we allowed them funding, so they now have an indoor bathroom facility in their town. I think that is
Simple
something,
pleasures.
that is something that would not have been in the grant world, but because we were able to look at these things, and there are other things. I mean, we helped Dayton Pool, we helped the hospital up in Illinois. I think there are a number of areas.
Hospital in Lincoln?
Yes?
Yeah, I think that once we see, once the grantees get awarded, we certainly would, if there were programs that we saw after 6 months, they have to report to us 6 months, that we thought, well, maybe we should extend this another year. We'd come back, I think, to the commissioners and say, XYZ program, they're doing amazing work. We'd like to, continue that contract with them and expand it out. And so that way, again, we chose a year only because of the unknown around it. Not the money is there, the money can't be taken away, it's settlement money. And there is more money still coming in, it trickles in, but, and we also don't want to spend money we don't have. We know that 20 years out, because you see that number, you see the end number, you say, oh, you have all this money. Well, we don't, the committee is very aware that we don't want to spend money that isn't in the bank. I know that in 15 years we'll have more money, but right now we have this, and this is what we're going to spend. I don't think you can ask the taxpayers to spend money they don't have in their pockets yet. So that's sort of the direction we're going in. But I think, there's no real guidelines into if we wouldn't expand those programs, if they were really doing the work that we liked and they were having impact on our community. I think it's a good thing. And again, we may in 2 years down the line or wherever, make a decision that you want to join the Bangor money with the Orono money, with the county money and do something, huge rather than small, 50,000. Yeah, they are small, $50,000 grants. You're not going to change the world with $50,000, but you're going to help a program that's doing some good work.
In that application, say we're not going to fund administration costs and personnel, because we didn't, in the ARPA, we didn't do personnel, right?
That's correct. We had
I think that should be the.
unwritten policy that we were not going to fund anything that created ongoing expenses beyond the ARPA.
Obviously.
And operationally, we were not going to do positions or utility or ongoing costs that should be kind of within their current budget. Not unlike what the settlement requirements are. You can't use this to offset existing expenses.
Correct. You can't use it to supplant.
Yeah, and just to.
And you can use, for instance, but your money, I think, is different. So the recovery council money, 12% can be used for administrative costs
Right, that's
to help manage the money, a lot of money. So, but we also, when we did the grants, there was a clause in there that we allowed, and I can't remember the number, only a certain amount to be allotted to admin costs. It was in that grant. We can certainly add a line in there if you have a specific thing in mind in regards to admin that you don't want funded in the budget. If you'd let us know, we can make that adjustment.
But I just got.
Or you can, again, if they're awarded money, you can say to them, we'll award you the money, but see this line here? We're not gonna do that. I mean, you can do that.
I did get, if it's all right if I use my phone, I got an update on the allocation of the state. So it says 30% is the county share, 20% was the AG share.
Yes.
It says 50% the council, so it must be 10% of the
Goes to
50 must
school.
be the school.
And then add.
Thank you for that. As far as the jail and some of the money that we've already allocated there, they're not going to be obligated in the grant process to apply for something. We will determine as the commission what we would use for maybe MAT programs in the jail out of those allocated.
Internal operational costs.
So I'm assuming when I look at the approximately $400,000, that is not including the jail funding, that's money you're including for these grants, or does this 400,000?
Yeah, I think we said for the first year, we're doing 400.
Yeah, I think we have accrued some money in the account. So our commitment to your work was to provide a $400,000 block that you could use, because there are additional funds that we can.
Correct.
We can assess to services within the jail. And my personal feeling is that that's probably the most effective direction of some of those funds, because most of those people who come into our care are at the lowest point and need some of the best levels of help. But that doesn't preclude the fact that there are people in the system that are helping either before they enter jail or after they come out of jail. So I think we're kind of building it as we fly the plane.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. The other last question I do have for you is you talked about the 4 pillars. Have you as the committee thought about, should you weight certain grants based upon which pillar they fall under?
We did not. I think with the discussion was we were just gonna wait to see what came in and sort of look at that. And again, and then we'll look, see how they score, but like, and I can't remember, we do have a cutoff date. If you score below something, we're not gonna, but we do it in there, and it's stated in here, we have the right to say, the top 5 scores all were treatment. But we wanna make sure that prevention gets in there. So you may have been one of the top 5, but because we believe that prevention is important, we will make that determination to do that. So your basis of award is not score only. It will be based on need, gaps, geographic, special populations. So we will do and weigh that before we come to you with the way, our recommendations for that.
I guess the last thing is kind of a logistical thing, recognizing that you all are volunteering your time and are passionate. Do you have a deadline that you feel would be appropriate to set on an annualized basis to review this, so this doesn't become a second job for everyone?
Yeah, we have a date. We want the applications out and due by November 15th.
Oh, okay.
So ideally, we want January 1 anticipated awards.
Okay. So you would see this as a 26 grant, and would you consider that a similar process in years going forward, so that you're not, I mean, you've done a yeoman's work to prepare this, and there'll obviously be some fine tuning, but I don't think you want to meet monthly.
No.
Okay.
I already have a full-time volunteer job with the Recovery Council. Yeah, it's, the Recovery Council is term limited. Yeah, I think we're just sort of, again, you said it right, we're flying this airplane, reading the instructions as we go. So we're, playing it by ear. Certainly if it goes smoothly and well, we'd be happy to do this on a yearly basis. I know that once you get that wheel properly greased, it goes smoothly. As I shared with you, been on the United Way for many, many years. They have it down to a science. They know how to get their volunteers in, they score it, they award them. And again, they tweak it every once in a while to fit the needs, and that's what we're hoping. And I also wanted to tell you that for those filling out the applications, we're working with the Moss Center to do a webinar in regards to showing people how to fill out the applications.
Okay. And just to clarify, there is the Moss Group and the Moss Center. The Moss Group is not the Moss Center.
Correct, this is the Moss Center.
Yeah, because I know they have worked with us on the PREA program and been very helpful, but.
Yeah. This is the Maine Opiate Settlement Services, Moss.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, which is.
Anything further from the commissioner?
Thank you.
About that, I would just say thank you.
You're welcome, thank you for
Please
your
extend
time.
our thanks to the committee. And
I will.
do we want to vote on approving this application?
That's where you're at, and I think that's what they're waiting for.
I would
Yeah.
move to approve the application.
So we have a motion to approve the application, and we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous.
Thank you very much, we got our work cut out for us, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Okay. At this point, I believe our friends from EMA are here. Thomas?
Commissioners?
We have some bids
Couple of
here.
bids in front of you, yeah.
We have
Thank you, don't work around.
the ceremonial
Yep.
letter opener.
Hand that down safely to the chair.
All right, there's no time on when we're just gonna open this,
I
so,
think that was,
yeah.
that guy should file yesterday, tried to kill himself with his pen.
Do I have two bids here, don't I? I have
There was 3.
Should be 3.
There's a no name.
No, I'm saying I have two different.
Oh, yes, you do,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the first bid comes from Bay Ridge Motors of Staten Island, New York. Oh, business card number. We would like to submit a sealed bid in the amount of $1,255 for the 2016 Ford Explorer with 118,000 miles that's being sold. So Bay Ridge has bid $1,255.
Okay.
Next one is emergency remarketing, which is from Mentor, Ohio. They have submitted a bid for the 2016 Ford Interceptor of $1,878.18. And the third one, on customized stationery, it's an EMA vehicle bid for the 2016 Ford Interceptor from Jeff Dorman, Lieutenant Firefighter EMT of Corona Fire Department. So I would assume it's from Corona, Maine. So it is an individual bidding at $2,500. Sheriff, you're in the room. Do you have a reference as to what we have gotten on police vehicles that we've taken to auction?
Yeah, I would highly recommend that you would consider going to the auction firm that we've been using and receiving bids double any of those bids that I just heard.
Okay.
So I have a question. We
Yes.
were gonna put this out originally with a local agency to see if anybody had interest, right?
I believe so. How, Thomas,
And
did
then we
you
didn't
speak
get
to,
any interest?
did we have any?
So this Corinna is not for the
Corinna is the
department, it's an
only-
individual, it's not for the Corinna?
He's
no-
requesting it for the fire department in Corona.
So that's what we put it out, that's what we wanted to do. And the other two, so how did it get to these other two agencies? Because I thought once, if we didn't get it, either we're gonna get interest from a local agency, and if we didn't, it would come back and we would make a decision on what to do. So how did we get out to this point?
Bay Ridge is pretty aggressive. We used to do business with them when we went through the auction, before we went through auction before, so they probably saw the ad and said, well, we'll take a shot at it, didn't read the
Okay.
instructions.
Well, if this third bid is for Corinna, that was the intent of what we initially did. I think we could get more, so if it's gonna benefit the department, I would be okay with selling it to Corinna for that price, but I wanna make sure that's where it's going.
That's exactly my thought. This is it's the highest bid of the three, and it's local, and it'll be used for one of our communities. That would be my preference.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think it should be taken under advisement and then have the director come back to you after verification that this is the use and then verify that they read the instructions. And also in addition to remember that this was intended to reduce the cost of removing the equipment that was in it as well. So I don't know how much that would be, but that could, reduce any net increase from taking it to the auction house, but.
Yeah, I think at this point, we need to clarify if this is personal or this is for the fire department. If it's for the fire department, I'm sensing that we would be more supportive of this bid, both as a high bid and as something that would benefit one of our county communities. Questions, or are you all set on that?
Director Fox just asked that we got a chance to review the bids, and I think that's exactly what he was thinking himself, so.
Terrific. I will leave those for you. Anything else, Thomas?
Thank you for the opportunity last week for the Maine Commissioners Convention.
Appreciate you taking the time. I think it was very helpful and productive, so
It was for us,
I know it was a bit of work, but thank you.
Your drone exhibit was very, very well received by other commissioners.
Appreciate that, I'll pass the message to Thomas and Chris.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks.
Yeah, did you want to take a motion and vote on, we
Thank
typically
you.
do?
Yes, we would take this under advisement.
So moved.
So moved. And second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous. Thank you. Now we will call forward one of our favorite departments.
Probably the favorite.
You got the DA himself?
That's trouble.
Wow.
You may regret that.
I believe we have the pleasure of reviewing your budget.
Correct.
All right. This would be department number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5. Just so you'll note, they provided me with a gavel at this point.
So under revenues, I'll start off with there. Let's look at the local grant and the general amount for disposition. I don't recall there was any increase on disposition or desire. It doesn't look like that it would be justified anyways.
The deferred disposition.
Yeah.
Okay, so revenues are neutral or in line with what they've historically.
Yep.
Moving on to the meat of the budget.
Okay, so let me start with the payroll and benefits, and then I'll let you chime in on justification. I'm just gonna lay out the facts. You'll see in the first line, it's highlighted, there's a request outside the scope for the office manager for $85,000. That is roughly, if you include benefits and everything, taxes, it's a $13,000 increase there outside the scope of the regular increase.
Which is the highest contractual
Correct,
COLA.
currently at 4, that is right. On the next line, they are requesting to take a part-time VWA. And if you're listening, correct me if I'm wrong, but, so take a part-time VWA who's currently 16 hours and increase by 8 hours. So from 2 days to 3 days a week. And the increased value of that is around $12,500. And lastly, up top, you'll see the VWA clerical is a new position request. This is a full-time clerical position specifically designated to the VWA, the Victim Witness Advocates. And I think everything else down below pretty much is in line for payroll and benefits, so I'll turn it over to the DA crew and let them testify.
So we have some salary comparisons here about our office manager, and I think this is important because Christine has been, can you mind sharing there? Christine has been in our office and started there before Chelsea Inns was even born.
So it's been a long time.
Not that no, but, this is, and if you look at what other similarly placed people are in the state, you'll see that Christine's salary is not commensurate with what she should be paid.
Find it to be a hostile work environment.
I enjoy it.
So these are numbers that you've collected from communicating with the other counties?
Correct.
You don't have Cumberland didn't respond? You have no idea what Cumberland's
Cumberland?
figures are? Cumberland and Knox. They're
No.
like,
Cumberland and Lincoln did not respond.
Lincoln on the
Nor
next
yours.
page, I think. Yeah, Lincoln County, there's, on your second page, they responded, I just kept it separate.
what was the link?
Okay, so
Lincoln is between 55,619 to 76,357.
I see, so it's vacant, which is probably why they did not respond, because they did not have,
Okay,
they did respond, they just gave you the range as opposed to. Okay, so Cumberland is the only,
Cumberland and York.
I'm sorry, Cumberland in York.
I would say I agree with their analysis, because the incumbent in the position is underpaid. I think we need to decide what the position itself is worth. Christine is definitely worth what they're asking, but I just, when we make the decision, I think it's gonna be about the position and not about the individual. So, I mean, maybe that position is worth that, but I think that's what we've got to decide, what the position is worth.
So just along that line, because what you're saying is important, but when you have a position such as that, I take it that there would be a range of pay for a person in that position, like step one,
So maybe we
two.
gotta change the top, maybe we gotta adjust the rates. I think we need to look at
Right, I got
what it should be, yeah.
Right.
I think, that's all. I agree that she's definitely worth that, but what's the position worth as well?
So I think what we're saying, since we just got this, is we need to internally have some discussions probably with HR to determine what the proper step is, because this is not just about this position or the
Correct.
value of that individual, it's about
The
what
whole,
does this do? Because as you know, a couple of years ago, we did a significant increase to try to bring things into better alignment. And we're now facing the reality that other counties have, for whatever reason, maybe the job pool, the market they're in, have potentially escalated over that, and so we're back in the chasing the
I think there's also,
tail here.
I think there's a mistake on where you get Penobscot list on the sheet. It says you hired in 1988 with DAC, you would been DAC before 2014.
Oh, yeah, I was hired in 1988, can you believe that?
Yeah, but why does it say with DAC?
And then I became the office manager in 2014.
Oh, I thought it was before, I thought in the early 2000s you were office manager. You always presented to the commissioners.
And the job does not have the title.
Yeah, she was doing it for
Maybe that was
free,
it, yeah.
but she never back pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is helpful, thank you for
Yeah.
preparing that. Other items that you would like to highlight for us?
Well, the clerical position.
Okay.
So we really, I would say, even if we were fully staffed for prosecutors, which we're not, which is a big problem, we are behind on the number of clerical positions that we need. I understand we can't just say like, oh, we need 5 clerical positions, but one real need that we have that I have kind of identified as a big problem in our office is that we have jobs that are really probably clerical jobs, but they most directly impact the VWAs. And all our VWAs, all our clerical, all our prosecutors are all way overworked. And so we get into this situation where it's like, the VWAs should be doing this, or clerical should be doing this. So a big example is our subpoenas. So every month we have a list of like, 60, 80 cases that are exposed for trial. And we have
That's a lot of witnesses.
we have to create subpoenas and get those out to the police departments on all these witnesses, which are hundreds of witnesses. And clerical has to create all of those, but it's the VWAs who are having to be in touch with all of these people and tell them, you know, what dates they're gonna have to come to court if their case is picked. VWAs really have the most direct contact with witnesses and victims, so they would be in the best position to say, update their address. A lot of times the police are just putting in addresses like their people's driver's licenses, and those might not be up to date. So what I would envision for another clerical position first is someone to really mostly deal with our docket call, I would say, deal with our subpoenas. We have a ton of victim calls right now. I would say that's increased a lot in the last couple of years because cases are pending for so long, and people are calling like, hey, what's going on with my case, which not a lot is a lot of the time. The other thing is we have way more court events because we're still having to have these weekly hearings on people who are waiting on lawyers. We never had to do that before, and they're reviewing their bail every week. So we have to call victims and tell them there's a possibility that this person's bail could change. We'll let you know what happens. So there's just a lot more contact that's being made. And I think that if we could alleviate some of those in the middle jobs, that would be a big help.
Are there any tools that you're familiar with that other agencies, DAs use to communicate besides phoning people?
Well, not really, no. I mean, people can utilize like the jail. We do give the victim information to the jail, and so they get hopefully alerted as a safety net in case like sometimes the prosecutor isn't done with bail hearings until after the cleric support staff leaves. So we rely on that, but no, not really. I'm not aware.
Are you familiar with the fine system?
Yes.
Okay, is that something that you employ at this point?
Just through like the regular jail notification system. But I'm not.
So what we're saying is that if somebody's in jail and bail's gonna get reviewed and they're gonna get out, or there's a chance they can get out, the jail has a way of contacting the victim and say, hey,
This person is getting out.
Yeah, this guy who strangled you might be out tonight, you better be aware.
But it doesn't tell them preemptively, like it's not gonna notify them that this person's gonna go have a bail hearing today, so create a safety plan, be ready, he might get out. It will tell them, once they bail, it will tell them they bailed, they're out. But we try as much as we can to let people know, because also they may wanna be heard. They may wanna tell the judge, like, listen, I'm terrified, don't let this guy out, please. Or vice versa, they may wanna say, this guy should be out, I want contact, I don't wanna prosecute. So, and they have a right to be heard. And so we try to keep up with it, but these weekly hearings are a lot, in addition to the 3 in custody days that we already have.
And my question is not to preempt what you're already doing
Right.
very diligently, but Sheriff, is the Vine system designed that it could be expanded in its notification purposes, to your knowledge?
The Vine system is totally a volunteer process of which individuals themselves can do it. Someday it might be able to expand. I think the victim witness folks are already advocating that to be used by the individuals themselves. I don't see how it's gonna take a lot of burden off of them. It may actually add a little bit to them. It's a tool, it's certainly a very valuable tool, but I don't know how it's gonna actually help them a tremendous amount to reduce their.
I just know that the sheriffs have advocated for that because it seems to have been very effective in other states. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware and potentially had options to use, not that this is not.
That's sort of an after the fact notification, that our job is to.
I wouldn't really want to chime in on something like this, but they do a tremendous job. The victim witnesses, it's something that I feel like the judicial system's lost sight of. Providing victims and witnesses updated information, updates on court hearings. They've been already victimized once. The continuance of court 3 and 4 and 5 times, sometimes victimizes them. And so their folks do a tremendous job and we should support them.
Appreciate that.
The big aspect of this is it provides prior timely notification for the victim, giving them time to.
Or witness.
Yes.
Witness.
Right.
To do that, and that is something that doesn't exist at the current moment, and something that really, in your capacity, is very desirable.
Yes.
And for the safety of the witness, obviously.
Yes.
So, stepping away from that clerical position for a moment, you're talking about requests adding 8 hours to a part-time VWA position. How many hours are that now allocated for that?
So we have a person right now who works 2 days a week. He used to be a full-time BWA, and then he stayed on part-time when he was gonna retire. And he's stayed on for 2 days. He does our probation violations, which those are a huge burden. And then things that our other VWAs really don't have time because they have an active caseload. So like, say a case gets appealed, like our sex assault cases, they almost always get appealed. And we're not very good about notifying, keeping victims updated on what has happened post-conviction because it's just not priority. So he does things like that. And he may be taking on, helping out with a district court. But so we're just asking for another day for him. He'll still be part-time, but it would be 3 days a week instead of 2.
Okay.
24 hours total.
Thank you. Other questions from the commissioners on this? I have one other, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to support the additional hours for the part-time position, but I think I obviously see the need for the other position, but it's another position, and we don't have an unlimited amount of money to spend, and it's a very difficult.
I'm sure the state's gonna chip
Oh,
in
yeah.
on this for us.
I'm hesitant, obviously we'll be taking all these under, we're not taking the extra day, but
Right.
I have a hesitation, not on the need, but on the funding for the second position.
The other question, I guess I didn't hear, but the BDATs that we have on page 2 here, which appears to be 76,000, it's highlighted. I'm just curious why that is.
On computer services.
Yeah, we had a conversation about when that was gonna actually take place. You see, last year it was budgeted for the same amount. Again, the conversation is we expect it to definitely take place next year,
This spring.
right, this spring.
Yeah.
This is the court systems.
No, this is different from e-filing. This is from us going from JustWare to an e-prosecutor computer system.
Our internal system.
Was that amount budgeted last year?
It was.
It was.
Okay.
Because we thought we would go this year. That's next year.
The 5-year average is 44. The actuals for this year is 48,235. So that is some preliminary work that was done?
Yeah, it's about 38 difference.
Or is this, what's the date?
I would say that those are the current charges for your current
Current charge,
contract.
correct.
And then when they make this transition, it was expected that there was gonna be an increase, which is why the 76.6, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Cost of licenses, upkeep of licenses.
All right. I don't see anything else.
Well, just a little bit under shredding, we talked about taking a look at possibly going to RFP, figuring out how much tonnage we use, possibly doing it countywide and going from there.
All right,
Shredding, where's that, Scott?
that's on that same page, it's highlighted,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It is, yeah. 46-600, probably on the third
I
page.
got it.
It's not, it's double, but it's $1,250 as opposed to $660.
Yeah, they jumped up on prices. I think I found another vendor that can do it for probably 2/3 of what that is.
Do we have other departments that shred for town, it's just the PA?
That's what we want to look into, is to see who is shredding and how much shredding they have and try to coordinate something. Yeah.
How are things coming upstairs?
Well,
Brian can tell.
yeah.
Okay.
If you find out, let me
I'm
know.
confident once the clerical moves in, that it's basically much more efficient and
Oh,
all, so I think that's the reason they might not need that other position.
You use that as a model to redesign the market, huh?
It's like the GE study, you know, they upgrade the lights, and do we need productivity went up, they lower the lights, productivity went up.
Real quick,
We need a motion to take this under advisement.
No, we don't. We just take, go, please, go ahead.
So one thing I didn't bring up to Scott, which we just kind of thought about today, is we've been looking at a discovery program for our office to provide electronic discovery. We had a couple of vendors that came in that we listened to their about their program, and they've come back really high. One program, I think, was maybe 82,000 starting for the year. The other one was similar to that. And if we're going to talk about our capital planning, one thing that we just thought about today is we want to most likely stay with, we're going to go to eProsecutor and have a discovery portal off of eProsecutor. Not that it would happen next year, but if we do go this route, which would be a huge savings compared to going to this other, NICE program or Axon program, they thought about we would get our own server. And the thought was that in the first year, to get the server and to share the cost with Piscataquis County, we would have to, it would cost us $29,000 for the first year to buy the servers. I have a printout of what it is, but I'm wondering if now, and if it's too late, then it's too late, that we should probably have a, capital plan for this this discovery portal, and I don't know if it's.
No, it's never too late for capital plan.
No, I just gave a thumbs up, I got them trained, yeah.
So,
No, this is exactly why.
Yeah, so I have a breakdown. So the cost is for these, the initial cost is to buy 2 servers, one as a backup. Sorry, I have one more too. I have one more. I forgot to. Sorry. So it's 2 servers, and that's what the highest cost is for these servers. And then if you see that share file is what we currently pay for our discovery portal that we need to get away from. But the thought is that the servers should last. They should last more than 3 years. But we're saying on year 4 we have to repurchase the servers. We're hoping to be able to push that out, but might be a good idea to maybe consider putting away some money next year, so the following year that we have the money available to purchase these at.
So just to be clear in my mind, the total is actually over $30,000 for the 2 servers?
Correct.
And you're asking Piscataquis to kick in $8,500 and us to kick in $25,500.
So yeah, they're doing, I think there's, would be, we pay 3/4, they pay 1/4.
Sounds good, but I'm just thinking, we're looking at about a $34,000 cost here, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And is there an option to lease these servers from the company as we've done with other equipment?
That I don't know, because we would be, that we don't know.
Okay.
I think I really don't know that answer, but, I think we would be in control of it, and all of our discovery would be on that. The cost is gonna be us having 2 servers, one for backup, because if it crashes, then, and we need a replacement, we're gonna be down, and we can't have that happen. So there's,
Understood.
um,
And there are no web-based versions that you're aware of?
Well, we did the demos with the 2 other like discovery management systems, and one of them, Nice, was awesome. And it was gonna be like 70,000 the first few years, and then it goes up because it goes by your number of active cases and then stabilizes at like, what, 112, I think. And I don't think that that would be a bad investment because I think it would release a lot of tension for us. It would be easier on our staff. It would probably kind of relieve some of the reason that we need so much more clerical. But we're gonna be going through so many transitions with e-filing, e-prosecutor. We need to go paperless. And so I don't want to do all of those things and bring on a new discovery system and just basically blow it. It's a lot of transition that we're gonna be going through in the next couple of years. So those are web-based, but they're very expensive to do it when we're really not ready. There are other things that we really should go paperless and then assess where we are at. But it's just hard to go paperless when you're trying to survive.
Yeah. So if I understand what Christine is recommending, we may not implement this next year, but we should put money aside towards it. And it's a 3-year cycle.
right, and hopefully we can actually push it out to 4 or 5 if the servers remain, so.
But, if we're calculating this,
We should calculate 3 years.
so that would be, if we're doing 100% at the current price, that would be, Penobscot's share would be about $8,000 of that.
No, the Penobscot share would be 29,000 for the first year.
Then 12,
Just
5,
to
12, 5.
clarify, if we're talking about reserve money in next year's budget,
Oh,
and it's a 3-year time frame,
no, we wouldn't go this year. I mean, it wouldn't go next year, it would be the following year, so it'd be year 2.
but you're saying we should put money in the budget to build a reserve for this.
Right,
So if we put 8,000 in next year's budget, because you're not gonna buy the servers next year, correct?
correct. But if we buy it in year 2,
So, but half the 14.5 is half.
Yeah, I think you're looking at a 3-year cycle to add those 3 up, correct? 29, 30,000 plus 12 plus 12,
right,
5, so that's 30, 40, 50, 55,000. So now you're talking like,
You're 14 each year.
16, 17, 18,000.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I misread this thing.
Yeah.
So we're asking to put 29,000 in this year, which would be the combination of the share file and the MEDATs.
well, I would say half of that at least. So we can do, 15, I would say. Putting
Is
capital,
Piscataquis going to follow suit?
as far as I know, that's the plan.
Confident of that.
Okay, because it would be really sad for us to put the
Correct.
money aside and then find out that we can't buy
Mm.
equipment because they.
I think Karina, who's our office manager there, is well informed, and the commissioners there would probably follow her lead. I'm confident of that.
So, if I'm understanding this right, the acquisition of the servers is not around 34,000, it's more than that?
Well, between, 25 plus.
Let's just talk about the MEDAT.
34,000 for the 2,
Okay. That would be what we would need to buy it,
correct,
year 1.
correct.
And then you're saying we will not buy it next year, am I understanding that correctly?
We're transitioning over to e-prosecutor next year. I don't think we'll be ready to go with the discovery portal until the following year.
But we would need the servers to be able to start, is that correct?
In year 2, right. We need the servers. Before we can do this, we need the servers.
The difference.
Since we're gonna take this under advisement, why don't you come back with a little bit of understanding of what the budget will be Because I'm a little lost right now.
Well,
And it's probably on me because you guys have done this, so I'm.
no, like she said, this just, I hadn't seen this before.
No, this just
Okay.
came up this
No,
morning.
this just came up
and,
this morning and,
Okay.
yeah.
Then I guess we
So
need,
this is one of those squirrels that, yeah.
All right,
I think it's worthwhile to have a discussion. It's
Yep.
just
Yeah,
how we fit it into the budget.
okay. Wait, not yet, sorry.
Okay,
One
yeah.
more. I also is seeking approval to purchase some computers. I did a spreadsheet of our computers that we currently have in our office, and there are several that are, the warranty expired back in 2023 or 2022. So we need to purchase 11 computers to get us up to date. The cost is, we buy through NEDAT, we have a statewide purchase. It would cost us $20,920. I believe we currently have $38,000 in our capital account, and I'm hoping that you would approve us to purchase those computers
That would be from the capital account.
from the capital account.
How many computers do you have in your office? I mean, are you replacing like a certain amount every year?
Yeah, in your book, you should have a spreadsheet of the computers, maybe hopefully Mary Ann put it in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
Um, So on that, I kind of did a listing of what we currently have. I can't find the list. So currently have when the warranty expires, the possible replacement date. So this just happens to be, these 2022 computers, it seems a lot. So it's gonna vary, what we need to do, but, we're hoping, we're saying to buy it 2 years after the expiration date, but if we can, go through years, that's what I'm gonna try to do. But being expired in 2022, we're really kinda,
No, that seems reasonable. I was saying, as long as we're not buying them all one year, if we can.
No, we're gonna space it
10
out.
this year, 10,
Yeah,
however
and,
many you have, you can spread it out.
Yeah, so it's really spread out. Some years are only gonna be, maybe, 5, 6, 7. So, this
And
is
there's
just the
plenty of money in
big.
that account, so, do we need to approve this? Or is it-
Yes.
Is this through IT or are they,
This is,
because it's a MEDAT, you order them directly?
we order directly through MEDATs.
I would move approval.
And we have a motion to approve the 11 computers for the DA's office. And I have a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
All right?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, folks.
So we'll talk more about that
appreciate your
later.
time, Chris.
Thanks.
And that's not in some years, so what they do is put aside an average amount of money to multiply it.
At
But
this,
this year just happens to be more purchasing than prior year.
at this point, we will bring forward the PRCC to take a look at their budget.
Can I go out of order, Commissioner?
You certainly may, Chris.
Something that I'm gonna address with you.
Okay? Is good news?
Sort of, kind of,
Okay.
sort of, kind of. It's all good news. Everything's good news, just how you look at it.
Yep.
All right, so what I brought in front of you, I came to you several months ago to talk about tower lease on Penobscot Mountain with Lighthouse Radio Network. Because it's such a fluid process, I wanted to bring the document to you for your approval. It's obviously a rough draft. Mr. Obi is going through and going to clean up the rest of the language if it's approved. But the big thing is it's $12,000 a year for the rent, which we had already discussed. It's very palatable. It's already in my budget. So, basically, if I,
Any significant changes to this versus prior contracts, or?
no, that's a pretty straightforward contract. There's
Where is
no
this, where is
surprise.
this?
Penobscot Mountain.
In District 3.
Yeah, your district commissioner.
Yeah, I'm saying, is that in Lake? That's the best that I'm here.
Yeah, so basically, if I get a call from the tower company, they can do the structural tomorrow. I kind of need to have something in writing before we hire the climbers to go up and do the assessment. So this is in front of you today for the sheer fact that I'm hoping that you will accept this contract and allow me to sign the lease when it's needed. I don't suspect that it's going to be tomorrow. I'm using that as an example. However, I don't want to get a phone call on a Wednesday afternoon after a commissioner meeting and have to wait 2 more weeks and push everything back, especially now that we're getting closer to that wonderful time of year where you can't get on top of mountains anymore.
Understood. And where there's an accelerator in this.
3% annual, which is normal in all of our contracts.
Do we have any questions, or are we ready for motion?
Oh, trust you with preemptive authority,
I know, right?
but I'm willing
It's
to.
kind of scary.
I'm willing to move that we allow him to proceed.
We authorize the director to sign this contract
When
after
appropriate.
when it's been
At his discretion.
revised.
Looks like it. Yes.
Was there a motion to approve this?
To approve this, there is a
Yeah,
motion.
second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the contract with revisions. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Just a
Done.
question.
Yeah.
Is there another location we're trying to negotiate a purchase on?
So, yeah, I was gonna talk about that next, Commissioner, thank you. So what that is Beeline Cable, of course, provided cable and internet, excuse me, in the greater Katahdin region for several years. They've been purchased by Spectrum or Charter Communications. So as part of the land lease, because Beeline Cable leases the land from Katahdin Timber or Acadian Timber, I can't remember which. They lease 3.1 acres up off Route 11. And as part of that land lease, they would have to tear the building down, tear the tower down, and restore the land to its original condition. So they're gonna have to bring everything back to grade, they're gonna have to replant trees. It's gonna cost them a lot of money to do that. Brad's got some connections up there, I've made some connections with some people up there, and between us having meetings with them, we were able to basically work out a deal with Beeline Cable where they paid the land lease up until July of '26. And they are going to give us the building, the tower, and the generator, everything on that 3.1 acres, free of charge. If we were to today go out and build that same exact site, you are looking at $1.1 million that we've saved the county. Now, there will be a land lease with that site. I don't have those final numbers for you. I have put in the budget what the land lease is going to be, but we are going to negotiate a separate land lease, and we're gonna negotiate 2 different options. Option 1 will be leasing year to year. Option 2 is going to be to buy the property outright, which that would be my suggestion. If I've learned anything through this whole process, as I've explained to you many times, sometimes it's better to own your own stuff than it is to just keep renting off people, because
Do
that's.
we have any squirrels, chipmunks, or other rodents that we need to verify their satisfaction with 2 lease terms?
Nope.
This one is a little different than.
Yeah, this one's a little different.
This is a transfer of a facility that, to us, $1.1 million at a cost of $1, saving the current owner the cost of restoring to original use. So it's a tremendous asset for us, and you've negotiated this much. I'm very pleased with what you're doing. I would think that the approach is to acquire the property, own everything outright, and in the long run, we'll save money on the leasing as well.
Yeah. So where
Does the tax on that currently go to the county?
the tax on that.
It's in the unorganized territory,
Yeah,
right?
it's in the UT.
Do you have any idea what the tax on that is, tax revenue?
3.1.
Yeah, that's an aside, we'll just check into that. See what the, I'm just curious what the,
Bet it's under $1.1 million.
Yeah. Well, we'll take it out of the sheriff's office budget, whatever it is.
Wow. I was thinking,
we did go to that.
is there any potential revenue that is derived from that tower?
No, not currently. So that is one reason why I want to buy the land, because that's how the land lease currently is, and that's how the land lease will be thereafter, which is a very common practice for landowners who allow people to build towers on their property, is that if you bring in a tenant to sit on your tower, you have to pay the landowner a certain percentage of your revenue. So my thing behind that is, yes, eventually we will try to have a tenant on that site. Because it's
And it'll be our.
a big tower, and I want it to be our revenue. I don't want to start playing the game where I owe someone a certain percentage of our revenue. It's like what we're doing in Patton. So, the agreement for the transfer of real estate, the physical property, the building, the tower, the generator, all the stuff on the ground is being drafted by Rudman right now. The other thing that's being drafted by Rudman is our blanket lease agreement for NBM Railway, because they want to lease some space off our tower in Patton. So that'll be another revenue generator. That's not reflected in my budget yet because I don't have the solid numbers, but we will be bringing in revenue from that site in 2026.
Third option might be to offer Acadians a tax advantage of donating that land to the county.
Yeah, could do that too.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
All right, I'm all about it.
I think we're providing emergency services to areas that they.
Yeah, they understand that completely. They've been very good to work with, so.
Yeah, I'm not discounting that, but, you know, since this, I imagine that land lease is probably.
Right now it's $24,000 a year.
Well, I'm suspecting also that land is in tree growth.
Yes.
Which means their value for tax purposes is significantly reduced. Is there a road that they maintain to that property?
I don't know if it's maintained, is it?
It's maintained, but I believe, and I'm not 100% on this, it might be maintained by another company that uses the road, because the road goes past the tower site down to, Quakers Lake, where they are dredging and other operations down there, and I think that in the winter.
That's where Heritage Timber is operating?
They plow, yes.
Yes, that's the one.
So Heritage Timber goes past the site, but as far as we had to get to the site in the middle of the winter, we have obviously multiple public safety options up there to get us into the site, and it's not that bad, but I think it is, you know.
The road is not plowed during the winter then?
I believe it is, but I don't think it's beeline that.
It's not far off the main road, so I wouldn't even be concerned about plowing up there.
No, I'm just thinking, what do we have to offer if?
Oh, yeah.
You know, if we're already having contractors up there plowing, is there some negotiable part that you could offer as part of this? Because it would be to your benefit to have the road plowed. And if there is a tenant on there for their benefit, so, you know, just thinking outside of the box a little bit here.
Yep. There is some work that needs to be done at the site.
Okay.
So, because there is a lot of tree growth up there, there's some trees down on the guy wires for the tower.
Okay.
The lanes need to be cleared up again for the guys. You're probably looking at just doing some tree work, probably 20 grand-ish in tree work. And then there's some work that needs to be done to the tower.
Is that usually the responsibility of the landowner to do that?
No, it'd be our responsibility, because it's for the guy wires for the tower.
Okay.
So, and then, Beeline gave us the tower with all of their old equipment on it. So that needs to be stripped and cleaned up.
Okay.
But again, we put maybe $50,000 into a piece of properties and structures that we just got that would have cost the taxpayer over $1 million. That seems like a pretty equitable deal to me.
Do you have any funds left in the radio bond that would be applied, or?
Potentially, yeah. I'm
Or
working
since this
on.
mostly serves UT, are there UT dollars that would be available for that?
Glad you brought that up, Commissioner, because that was my next thing, is I was gonna talk to you about, coming back for some more TIF funding through the UT.
I would certainly encourage you to talk to the UT director.
Yeah, I will, most definitely.
Okay, but I think that's probably a prudent course of action, since the bulk of that service goes to the residents of that area.
I would agree.
Great.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
anything further?
No, just my budget.
All right.
Where do we want to start? We want to start on revenues?
Yep, go ahead and hit revenues.
Perfect.
Carbon 4 commission.
This will
Thank you.
put them in a good mood.
Yep.
So for revenues, we're looking at about a 3%, it's 2.99% increase over last year. Again, for revenues, we bring in a little bit of money doing transcripts. It's nothing crazy. It costs us more than what we bring in. But
Is that a fee that we assess to people that want transcripts, or how does that work?
it does, but it's redacted by our attorney. And what we can charge and what Rudman charges us do not match. Because
So are these
because of the
FOIAs?
law, yes.
I thought we could get a reasonable cost out of it.
I mean, $25 an hour after the first 2 hours. And we can charge up to $25 an hour for the time that it takes to transcribe. But them charging us $120 an hour for an attorney fee and us charging $25 an hour, it doesn't line up. We've always lost money on transcripts.
I think we get reasonable cost. I think it's
You
not.
can, it's the redaction you can get them, but I believe the transcription
Yeah,
is
correct.
different. Yeah.
Right, but this isn't straight.
Um,
On the revenue, when the Rooster contract, is that, is it based on calls, it's just a set contract with the Rooster?
Set contract.
Is it annual increases in it?
3%.
Okay, so that's basically the 3%.
Yep. So, we set,
And that's
we
not
signed-
just Roostic, do we not have other contractual arrangements?
We signed a 3-year contract with the Roostick, and we're coming into the last year on that contract is 2026. So the Roostick contract was 209,030, as noted in the right-hand column. The other contracts that we have that make up the rest of that are the 3 communities that we dispatch for outside of Penobscot County. So there's 2 in Aroostook, Island Falls, and Sherman, and then there's 1 in Hancock, which is Dedham. And that makes up the $233,167,000.
Okay. I'm obviously on the wrong page. 'Cause I'm looking at EMA. Let me get back to Department 4 here. Sorry about that. ERCC, okay, now I'm on the right page, thank you.
We all good with the revenues?
We're good.
Okay. All right, moving on. Again, like what we heard just a little bit ago, a few lines down, I did make an adjustment outside of what the administration had put in for the increase. The reason why I did that is hour for hour, the supervisors are making more per dollar. Top step supervisor is making more per hour than Brad. We talked about last year at this time, we talked about having that gap, right, that we all did years ago when we did the wage study. We knew that last year it was gonna be tough and it was gonna be tight, and Brad smiled and basically went on with it, and it has worked the past year at less dollars per hour than people below him. So we made adjustments there to put that 5% buffer in between the top step supervisor and the deputy director position, and that's what's reflected there. Moving on, Mr. Atkins, do I need to explain anything in the employee benefits section, or is that?
No, I don't think anything stood out there.
Okay.
Sorry, I scrolled up elsewhere.
No,
Let me
it's
get back
okay. In computer services, you'll see an increase of $14,940. That's for Rapid SOS. We are on year 3 of our Rapid SOS contract. We had originally paid for the first couple of years out of the capital account and rolled it into the budget after that. But that's a 5-year contract, and if you're not familiar with what Rapid SOS is, it is an enhancement to the 911 system. So as far as like mapping goes, I'll use an example up in Commissioner Marshall's district. So we take a head-on boat crash on one of the lakes in the UTs. The cell tower is where the 911 system gathers its information from. So when we're looking at the mapping on the 911 system, it's basically telling us that the person has a poor cell signal, and it's giving us a tower location and a meterage from that tower. When we use Rapid SOS, it uses the device's location manager and GPS rather than the cell sites. So when it pulls that information from the device that's calling 911, it's much more accurate and pinpoint. We have had several success stories. I talked about one a couple of years ago where the state's 911 switch went down, the Lewiston switch, and it never failed over to Portland. We went several hours without 911 calls coming in because the system was down, but we were getting the 911 notifications on Rapid SOS, and we were able to call people back on the business line. So it's not a replacement to the 911 system, it's an enhancement to the 911 system.
I think,
And that works in urban areas as well as rural areas.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think the other thing very important to note on that too is that Rapid SOS has evolved so much in the last couple of years that it is way more than just the enhancement system. So currently I'm working with 2 school departments that are going to emergency alerting within their schools. So if a teacher were to press their emergency alert button, that sends an instant notification to Rapid SOS. So they wouldn't even have to call 911. Additionally, there are police body cam companies now that have integrated with Rapid SOS. So you can get the GPS location of a police officer that's in distress and will come up on the map. So it's more than just enhanced 911. They're out bridging with medical alarm companies, these other things I just explained. So it gives way more information than
Does this
just.
tie in with UMO emergency broadcasting?
No, not yet, but.
That's separate, right?
We give it
Probably
6
someday it will.
If you give it 6 months, the Rapid SOS will probably work.
So in the legislative process, you made us aware that there was a bill to require certain aspects of that emergency alert system. It failed. However, there are school systems that on their own are initiating this.
Correct.
Is there any uniformity yet?
No, that's the biggest problem with it, is that it's like anything else. There's 100 different companies out there that sell this software, and then we're expected to manage it. It'd be fine if we were dispatching for the city of Bangor and the city of Bangor alone.
Yeah.
Right, but when you're talking about 2 counties worth of people, that makes it very challenging, and we actually have to put our foot down.
Are there any revenues school systems are paying to have this integrated into the 911 system?
No, because we're not even doing anything unless it integrates with Rapid SOS. We're not touching it. Because we can't, if we start with one school and we say, yeah, we'll monitor that for you, and it's completely separate from anything that we monitor, and then they tell the school the next town over, and the next town over does their own thing, I mean, where do you stop, right? So we've provided an avenue for them. If the software they use ties in with Rapid SOS, then we'll do it, because we're already watching Rapid SOS. Other than that, we're not gonna start monitoring people's alarms. We're not getting into that. All right, moving on to page 2.
A lot of yellow here.
A lot of yellow, so I did a pretty significant deduction, automobile mileage. Because we have the truck, so that's taking a lot of mileage off. I did increase lodging. We have several employees that have to go to training, and as you know, they don't have trainings in Bangor. They're all over the state, so we did increase some lodging. We did some number smithing with gas, light maintenance, and tires. We just moved that tire section up above in the gas. Under utilities, you will see that there's an increase in electric. We're responsible for some of our sites now, whereas we leased before, we weren't. So I tried to calculate the power usage as close as I could, and that number reflects what I came up with. One thing that we never had before that is new this year is we put in a propane line for the generators of the tower sites. So I think it needs to have its own line so that we can track the usage in the future. Telephone, there's a little bit of increase for LTE backhaul at the tower sites, and we increased the internet for the Starlink purchase. You will see the increase under rental of land. That is to cover Passadumkeag and Millinocket. Of course, I don't have the exact numbers for Millinocket, so that's with the max amount that it would be next year. Grounds and maintenance, that's an added line for bush hogging and lawn mowing at the tower sites. And then radio base, we just added the increase in there for managing the radio system when everything's all done here very soon. Move on to the next page. There is an increase to training and education, obviously. Good news for us, we've hired a lot of people, we're keeping a lot of people, but we need to train them too. We need to continue training them because they don't have all the experience.
Chris, do you want to touch on Zetron back there a little bit?
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Why not? So Zetron, our radio console company.
What section are we looking at?
465500.
Radio base?
Yep.
Yeah, radio base. So Zetron, years ago when we did the console upgrade, we did the product support plan. Well, the product support plan has been an annual thing all along. You just pay for a year and then they will support you. They'll give you all the updates and firmware upgrades, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
RCM let us know that Zetron decided this year, they let us know in January, that there was going to be changes to the product support plan format, and there was going to be changes to how much they billed us. So, of course, I've been talking with RCM. RCM's been great to work with. They've been very defensive on our behalf with Zetron about the planning since they announced this in January. About 3 weeks ago, I called RCM and I said, you need to call Zetron and tell them that I'm trying to wrap up my budget and I need to know what we're gonna pay in 2026. And I also told them that if they didn't have an answer for me by that Friday, that they were gonna take what we paid this year with a smile, or they were never gonna get another dime out of Penobscot County ever again. Because we're 9 months into playing this game on them figuring out how much money they want from us. So Mac made that phone call on my behalf, and we have negotiated with Zetron that they are going to happily take what we paid them this year, and they will continue to support us for another year. In that same conversation, by the way, we saved about $40,000 out of what I had proposed with Scott initially.
At least for 1 year.
For 1 year. But one of the things that Zetron said was, well, your computers are 5 years old. You know, there's some of the electronics that need to be refreshed. And I totally get that because it's public safety computers. They're on 24/7, 365. They do need to be replaced. But nowhere in here has Zetron come up and said, this is the plan moving forward and this is what we need from you. They were just expecting to come in and take our money and drop off new equipment and ride off into the sunset, and we were not having that. So as part of this, Zetron, by the end of 2025, has to provide us with a 10-year capital plan for the consoles, maintenance, equipment refreshes, everything from front to back. They need to provide us with the next 10 years and how much it's going to cost. So, is that good for you, Scott?
Yes. Thank you.
5 years would be great, 10 years.
Yeah. Well, the point was to have a plan, not hit us with a, just say, as the director said, one lump sum. If we need to make adjustments, we need to plan for this, just as they would expect us to do with them, so, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. I'll breeze through the rest because it's been a long day for you so far. We did have a little minor increase in training, of course, because I've got more people. Same thing with uniforms and furnitures and fixtures. We did have an increase there because I am expecting to do work on some of the actual physical desk consoles that are up there, because those are getting old and I'm gonna have to replace some parts this year. Overall, it's 5.63. And that's bare bones.
Questions? Seeing none, we'll take this under advisement.
I like what I see.
Okay, appreciate your diligence on this.
Thank you. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Right, double thanks too.
Thank you.
Mr. McDonald.
Good luck, I won't.
Hey, I didn't have an email from Mr. Gerald. Herman's thank you. Oh, you didn't see.
I believe we've got 4. Still morning, so good morning.
Still morning for 2.5 hours.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting started.
So I believe we're gonna open bids for Franklin Street. I hope so, because that's what I'm doing.
Do we have multiple?
We have
Yeah.
4 right
Four.
Oh. All right, that makes me happier.
First bid comes from Benchmark of Westbrook, Maine.
And just if I could interrupt for a second, Joshua Tunick is here. He has been hugely helpful in getting this finally done, so.
Great, thank you for that.
First one is
There are many
Benchmark.
people looking forward to moving forward here. So Benchmark, $470,234.
Yeah, I was stumbling over it too. I didn't even have to speak out loud. All right.
Not close to what we were thinking, was it?
What did they say,
470234. Next is Nichols Construction of Bangor. They've listed project manager, project superintendent, carpenters, laborers, material subcontractors, electric, plumbing, flooring, paint. There's no final figure, there's wage rates.
Didn't we use the single page in the front?
I thought so.
I'm sorry,
Oh, I was gonna say, they usually, yeah,
sorry about that.
yeah, they're usually pretty good.
We're not going in the right direction. $528,600.
Won't touch that one.
Well, stay tuned.
I'm sorry, can you repeat it? What?
528,600. Dopen's Construction of Freeport, Maine. 501,100.
Oh, this one's even 400,000.
Bowman Construction of Newport, Maine. 494,075. I believe we'll take these under advisement.
Please do.
Yeah. Can we have, go ahead.
Well, I'm not inclined to think any of these are very good bids, but you helped put the specs together, did you?
Yeah.
Where did you think these were gonna come in at? I would've thought they were gonna below
I'm not
300.
surprised, I mean, there's a lift, those are expensive. There's still some demo to be done, so there's some unknowns. I mean, it'd be interesting to dig into them a little bit and see what they're carrying for certain things.
It's not, how many square feet are we, how many total square feet are we renovating here?
Remember that number?
I don't know.
But I mean, we're seeing,
Doesn't seem like much, but.
we're seeing 300 a square foot these days.
It's 1,800 or, 28, between 18.
I just said 2,000, yeah.
What's that?
What'd you say, we're seeing?
About 300 a square foot is not
Square foot,
uncommon, yeah.
That's what I
There's
thought.
1,800 square feet down there?
It's a guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have that number, sorry.
That's all right.
So figure 2,000, that's 600.
Do we have funds that we have reserved for this project?
Yeah, I'm looking right now, I can't recall the exact dollar amount, but it wasn't that much.
I thought it was around 285.
That's what I was thinking 275, yeah.
We have a motion to take this under advisement.
Please.
Second? Oh, you need a motion?
I need a motion.
Yeah, I would so move.
Second. Further discussion, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. You have anything
Are
else
we
you want to
going,
report on that one?
we need more people in
No,
the trade.
one.
EA clerical space, second floor, renovation project. Thank you very much.
So, much like what we just heard here, the prices for the DA space were significantly higher than we had expected. Scott and I had a couple discussions. I think we're going to, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're going to pass on those, and we're gonna do a lot of the work ourselves. And we're looking for, we will use our electrician and heating vendors, and we're looking for some folks to help us with the carpentry. And
Christine said, yeah, Chris is pretty good carpenter.
I think that we.
I heard he builds a good case.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that we could probably do this ourselves for less than half of what has been paid.
Great, finish that,
I think we know where the other half is going.
Yeah, because I'm only seeing 250,000. I thought we might have, there might be another number somewhere, but, yeah, either way, it's not far off, but.
So the DA space, I honestly think we can do it. We can do a lot of the work in-house, and use expert, use tradesmen as we need them, and,
Yeah, you still take it under consideration, we have a couple of individuals at like part-time.
correct, and I'm waiting for prices from them
Right.
to see what it would be,
Yeah,
whether I have identified certain aspects of the project that we would need help with, and waiting to either get a price for that or an hourly wage or something like that, so, that we could manage.
Okay. So we are moving forward just cautiously.
if the commission agrees with whether the directors, I support it, I think definitely we could do it. I'm hoping for half, but definitely should be able to do it much cheaper than what the prices we received. Then again, I think, that we're seeing vendors are still quite busy.
Yeah.
They're picking and choosing their work, and if you want me to work for you, it's gonna cost you.
Yeah,
So,
they are, oddly enough, it swung very quickly from people needing work to people being very busy.
Right.
And they're saying, okay, I don't really have time to do this, but if I throw out a price and they take it, then we'll find time. That said, if you do okay what our plan is, I would like to get started as soon as possible. We went up there with a possible contractor the other day, and there was a TV interview going on. So the room's still being used often, and we'd just really like to
Start taking it.
let's start shutting that off and letting us get in there and start taking the room apart.
Yep.
Yeah, we will preserve the phone booth because it is a classic, right?
That will be a decision of where to put that. I've already had 3 or 4 recommendations.
We could put it over in the jail and put the ATM machine in there.
We put the whole jail in the museum in Augusta.
Actually, it sounds good. My question, I know on Franklin Street, we had some money budgeted, and we're all on board with it, but where's the budget money coming from this?
Great segue, boy, you're just
Yeah, right on it.
right on it today. So we definitely don't have any ARPA funds available now for this. It's the building and improvements fund is the only other one that I can think of right now. That's got 700,000 in it currently. If that's not a good option, the other ones are either, the PILT or the ARPA interest or other designated specialty funds. But I think if we kept it,
I think it should stay in a line item that's.
I agree. I think that's where it should go.
We may have some other capital improvements that need help.
So we probably should designate that that's coming from the end of the day?
I would, yes, if you're in agreement, I would appreciate that. And
I would move we move forward with having it done in-house and paid for the capital improvement fund.
It's account G3999601.
Yes, G3999601.
You good with it?
Yeah.
Have a motion and a second, further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you.
Move forward.
Now,
I'll bring my hammer and my work belt.
now,
Sorry?
I'll bring my hammer and my work belt.
Oh, there you go.
Come one, come all.
I think there's some satisfied customers who just left.
Yeah, they both left with a smile on their face.
Yeah, you got it done yet?
Yeah. Furniture's already in the hallways.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
now are we gonna book our reserve accounts as revenue for last year? Okay,
Salt in the wound.
all right.
All right, we on your budget, Brian?
Sure, I think so.
So Department 8, buildings, I'll start off as I typically do with payroll. Unless you have any questions, it's all straightforward. So I'll hand it over to Brian.
Okay,
So, you'll see several that are highlighted in yellow. We'll talk about those and a couple that are highlighted in yellow that are reductions, thankfully. So the first is cleaning and sanitizing. I believe that is for contracted help, or I'm not quite sure what that line. Actually, we use it for pest management.
Right.
And originally the pest management person was solely for the jail. But with the things changing in the world, I've spread it out to all of our buildings, and there are times where we've gone over, and as you see, it's the actuals, the average, just identified that it needed to be bumped up.
yep.
Especially in today's world where people are affected by all kinds of things, bugs are not great.
Yep.
In the parts and maintenance for the vehicle, you'll see a couple of reductions there, which is it's a good thing.
Before you go any further, oh, sorry, were you gonna mention about combining them?
If,
There's no objections to the commissioners. I had done it, I went ahead and did it with the RCC anyways. And there was no, but when Brian and I talked, just in conversation, wanted to make sure that you were on board with it before we did it. It'll be a simple
It's
adjustment.
like the legacy change you made for the former commissioner from gas and oil to gas and light maintenance
Oh,
for tires and.
yeah, there was.
you know,
grease
that,
in
that
there,
was actually, yes, that was in the consideration. It sure was.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on to utilities.
So, utilities, I have an increase in water. I try to pay, well, first there was a decrease in electricity. This year, it looks like we're gonna come in right around 300,000. I read that, for the past couple of years, I've read that there's gonna be rate increases. I think some of our facility improvements are helping with increased efficiency. The boilers, not only with fuel, but electrical. Franklin Street got all new, better, more efficient HVAC. This building is going to do the same. So I think we could possibly cut that a little bit. So we dropped it down a little. Water, I do read, and I've got several letters on my desk saying that there's a rate increase. We're doing better with water, actually, with some improvements to the jail, plumbing improvements, but I still think we need to bump that up a little bit. If you don't mind, I just keep moving on. Buildings and structure, every time we try to do anything, it just seems that we open up a little bit of a rat's nest and things are more and more expensive. Electrical, that's a huge jump, 100%, because of recent findings, and since we've talked about that the last time, we've had even more things that were found that need to be repaired. So moving forward, I'd rather have it and not use it. If hopefully we get to a point where we can start the curve going the other way. Generator, I bumped that up, but since I've been here, it's been $1,200, but they never, for whatever reason, they stopped doing the annual inspection. So we just started that, and the inspection itself was $1,500. So that needed to be bumped up just to get with the times.
Yep.
The next is heating, the same. Their price hasn't increased in years, and Franklin Street should help, and this building, the changes we're making here should help, but I still think it needs a little bit of adjustment. The 5-year average has been, I lost my train. Yeah, the 5-year average has been significantly higher than what's been budgeted over the years.
Okay.
And
While you're on that page, there's no change in trash removal, but have we, when the last time we bid that out, trash removal?
not
Is
since
this
I've
counting?
been here,
Which is,
5 years.
yeah, it seems like, maybe we can look at the last time that went out, who are we with now?
Casal,
So,
yeah.
I think we might not save a lot, we could save,
Well,
we could save 3,000 or 4,000 by bidding it
I
out.
do see some local
Yeah, there's
areas
more
that have gone
competition
away
there, yeah.
than others, yeah. Yeah, I can certainly look at that. So the next is highlighted as fuel oil. It's a slight increase, even though one of we're doing much better, but we've just recently, with the HVAC improvements to Franklin Street, we now have 2 functioning boilers, where for the last year or 2, we limped along with 1. So it might be a slight increase. I I'm hoping that we could still see some savings, but just in case, we bump that up a little bit.
And that's just the Franklin Street building?
No, that's basically our gas bill, for the
Okay,
county.
so we say fuel oil, it really should be natural gas. Or should it be heating fuel?
Yeah, we don't have oil on site anymore with the tank removal a few years ago. So, yeah, it should be, the heading should be natural gas, yeah.
Might be something to just correct.
And lastly, is maintenance supplies. We've increased that just because the cost of everything is skyrocketed. Just yesterday, I received a quote for the next purchase of the plumbing, the valves that were installed in the jail. It was identical to the order, almost identical to the order that we double paid, which was $18,000. Their quote is just over $29,000. They've increased their prices by 60% in the last 2 or 3 months.
How many more of those valves do we have to replace from here?
This last order that I asked for, that they just quoted, would replace the worst valves. We had a list of about 30 that were constantly troublesome. And this would pretty much wrap that up. It's still only about half, that would still only be just shy of half of the entire building.
Right, but these are the trouble spots.
This is the list of the trouble.
The 30 are trouble, the total that we have.
I'm sorry?
These are the most troubling
The
ones.
30 are the most troubling ones, not the total we have.
Correct. There were a list of ones that we were constantly trying to repair and MacGyver and this last order would pretty much clear that list. But it's just slightly less than half of the entire building.
Okay.
And I think that is all of the worrisome ones.
So at this point, we would take this budget under advisement as well. But thank you for your reporting and the work you've done to be efficient.
I appreciate it. 32?
Let's jump to 32 for a conversation.
It's flatlined, it's the same as what we set aside last year. Actually, the last 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
So you said buildings are at about 700 right now. So we could replace the boilers again if we had to.
No, there's not enough.
Okay.
Considering inflation, you'd be probably about $25 short, so, yeah, we'd have to do a little bit more, but.
Maybe worse than that. I just heard from Cumberland and they probably have a larger facility.
Don't forget the tariffs.
They're over
And the tariffs, yeah, no, don't go there.
Well, the good thing is that what we have is, and I've been working on my capital improvement plan, but none of us may be here when you have to worry about those. It's probably about 15 to 20 years out before you have to start worrying about those.
I think I was good for 21. I was good.
David will be around. He plans to stay.
Well,
yeah, your capital plan will actually help determine what we can do here. So be part of that, so yeah.
So.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you for your diligence. Any other questions before we leave? See none? Thank you again. HR. Your Honor.
When I presented my budget, you requested an overall staffing update, which I hadn't done for a couple of months. So in your packet, I've given you, the top half are current openings that we're tracking, well, current might be in this Mary Ann.
Yeah.
And then the bottom half are just generally a list of the number of staff in each department, what percent of staffing each department is at.
easier to find if I look in
The right book?
the right book, yeah.
So if you want this for budget season, I would recommend you take it out of your agenda booklet, put it in your budget booklet. Just keep in mind that it's a moving target and will change.
Mary Ann's done that for the most part.
Okay. If there's significant changes, I will update it throughout the budget season so you have something more current, but this is a good snapshot.
Well, this is a much more optimistic looking chart than we've seen in the past.
I would agree.
Any questions on this? You may or may not have been in the room when we were talking about some of the salary compressions we're facing.
I don't think so.
PRCC expressed some concern about the compression for their deputy.
Oh, yeah, just now, yes.
And then there was also the DA's office where we were provided information which you may or may not have on a wage study comparing other administrative positions to what Penobscot is being paid. And the commissioner, one of the commissioners, we all, I think, feel the same, that while we value each individual we've got, we can afford to pay the position, not always the individual. So,
Yes, I've been involved in conversations with Scott on the PRCC deputy director. And I also support Scott's recommendation that he gave you on that. I had not seen any of the DA
I think we just received that today, didn't we? Yep. There were a couple of documents from PA that, do you have copies or do you want my copy?
No, we can share copies, and she can have,
We would appreciate your assessing that and giving us some thoughts as we come back.
Because you probably haven't heard the term for a while, but that particular instance, you really have to take the apple cart into consideration. That's one there where if you move that one, it's not the only piece that's gonna get moved. So I think we'll take a look at it, and I think that's what Director Dyer will need to do, is kind of give an idea, if you do this, and you're also looking at this one and possibly this one, and then, you know, where does it stop?
And I'm appreciative
Focus a
of,
lot of attention on that.
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of everyone advocating for their people. That's what we expect.
Sure, yeah.
But we also have to be realistic
Right.
about what we can and can't do here.
Yeah, and remember, the reason that you're seeing them this year is that I was requested to bring them to you and have the debate here rather than have it in my office.
This is not about questioning why we're seeing it. It's a healthy discussion that is gonna tie in, probably to some degree, what happens tomorrow in the budget too.
Absolutely.
People need to understand the realities of this.
Absolutely.
Do you have wage studies for local market compared to, let's use an example, because it's fairly easy and I think fairly available. Comparing a comparable patrol deputy salary to some of the surrounding police departments.
I have access to studies, yes.
Okay. I think in the context of what we need to share with the committee and the administrators, that we need to assess this so that we've done our diligence to say, you know, the county has only raised salaries to a certain level based upon a study we did of other counties. Now we are out of balance with some of the municipalities. I know that there are command staff that are considerably under, and we're covering 153,000 population, and you've got municipalities that are paying lower level command staff more than some of our. I'm not saying that we can afford to change what we're doing, but I think we have to have some honest discussions with people who are coming in to take a look at the budget process so that they have reference. It's not to point fingers at anyone. In my book, it's about how do we collaboratively look at this, because we know that salary ranges in the same market impact our ability to fill positions and retain people. I mean, we've gone through, in the last 5 years, a dramatic turnover in some of our our different staff levels.
We do lose a lot of people to local municipal police departments.
And that's fine, but I also think that elected officials need to recognize that their decisions have consequences on our budgetary decisions too. So if that is not too complicated to pull together, and we can talk after this about how we would present that, if we would present that tomorrow or we
Tomorrow?
to the budget committee.
That's about high hopes
Okay.
for tomorrow.
I'm sorry,
That's
Commissioner,
fine.
yeah, with all due respect,
If we can
that's,
prepare that in some
For
context.
the budget process.
yeah, if you're talking a wage study, that takes weeks to
I
generally
understand
do,
that.
but.
I'm
yeah,
not asking for a
well,
full
okay.
wage study, but I'm,
Okay, well, even, so if you don't do at least an adequate wage study, then it's kind of useless in itself, and, because a wage study in itself is just kind of like driving a car off the lot. As soon as you leave the yard, it's sort of antiquated.
yeah.
And then once somebody moves, others move. I mean, I think in general, I think we can all agree the county is barely at market, local market in many instances, but we continue to move along. So certainly, I think that's a great discussion, depending upon how deep this group or some of the group wants to get in to the county budget. Absolutely, that's I think would be an appropriate time.
The purpose of this is not to say to people, well, look what you did, and that's affecting us. It's to
Right.
say,
Right,
we're seeking to be more long-term in how we look at our
Right.
capital and our
Yep.
core expenses. I think you've been able to share with us
Yep.
about 56% of our budget goes to wages, and then benefits is another 23 to 25.
yeah, between the two, it's right, yeah,
Around 80%.
yeah, just under that, correct, yeah.
Those are contractual arrangements that we really can't change.
Those are fixed, that we're obligated to meet.
And there are associated expenses with some of those, unemployment, workers' comp, et cetera.
Mhm.
I just want to have an honest discussion with some people if we need to provide them data so they can go back and explain it to their councils or their publics why we're in the position. Because there have been things in the news that I think some people may try to overlay what's happened in other counties with what we're facing. And I think that's not appropriate, and we need to be prepared in a measured process to share that information.
Right.
I think I can get you stuff for budget,
Yep.
absolutely. And as far as your meeting tomorrow, I'm not prepared for it.
I
Don't know much about, I still don't know much about it, but I'm certainly happy to come to it if you wish, to get some questions of the group that you're meeting with, to see what they're looking for in a wage analysis, which would help prepare for information.
I don't know how deep
later.
we need to go into that. I just don't know whether you think it's prudent for her to be in some of that meeting to just reflect what questions come from the administration.
I think it's prudent for anybody that can attend to kind of, again, depending on, what, definitely for the county to at least listen. I mean, obviously, I think a good part of the response is gonna include she and I.
Just keep in mind, my answer is if I attend tomorrow, I'll talk to Scott after about that. May just be, I'll look into it, I'll get back to you.
Well, yeah,
I'm not
beyond that,
looking-
I wouldn't necessarily look for you to speak tomorrow.
I think it's more just get
Yeah,
the understanding of the basis of some of the questions, because our goal is to be as transparent as we can.
yeah,
We have an issue, we've got to address it, but we need to prepare these people who have to go back and be accountable to their elected bodies, and it's only fair that we provide whatever we can to help them do that.
yeah, I think part of the solution tomorrow is, part of the outcry is gonna be, well, we don't have a vested interest in the budget, albeit you do, but, so if you want a more active piece, then listen out, let's start having conversations, and I think as it develops, you're gonna start, we'll just take wages, for example, you're gonna start looking at it, certain towns might go, whoops, we're actually paying more. So how can I chastise the county for, and in the end, I firmly will stand solid and say that we're about as prudent as we can get.
I think we've gone through a process the last few years that
Yes,
validates the decisions we
Yes.
made.
yes,
I think we just need to be able to continue communicating that to our partners. And again, it's not as maybe in the past, you may have experienced some of these discussions be our biggest municipal partner, that you get frustrated at what happens with a budget that you have no direct control over. I want them to understand that. They don't have to like it, I just want them to understand it.
And we want to work together more.
Absolutely.
And if this is a start to it, then okay, because they need us we need each other as a partnership.
Yeah, it really leads to the next discussion is, how do we address the revenue problem that we have? Because we are in a unique position. You know, most governments, it's not a revenue problem, it's an expense problem. In our case, it's a revenue problem because we can't control some of our expenses based upon the operation of the jail and the parties that affect us. This building is really made up of components of government that operate pretty frugally and efficiently. So there's really not a question here. Our big
I think that discussion, I'm not gonna be able to stay for a lot of it, I've got another meeting after, but I think the focus is, everybody's approved these annual budgets we've had, there's been no issue. I think they've just got to understand that we didn't get the funding from the state that we anticipated.
Right.
And it's gotta be, I think they've got to give it a reason why we let it build up over 4 years and then fund it from year one. And the problem is that we let it build up over 4 years. And that's why we're in the situation. Not because of any wages we're paying, or anything, those are all gonna come. It's just that we let this build up, and we gotta fill this year's gap, and we gotta fill the previous year. That's the only issue.
Yeah, the other component of that is, what is the solution? Part of it is, how do you become partners with us to advocate to the state for more responsibility?
Mm-hmm.
And two, where do we find the type of collaborative efforts, i.e. what we've discussed with regionalized services? What is it that we might be able to offer that could help towns that are struggling?
Right.
And, you know, it may not reduce everybody's cost, but if we can maintain a quality of service without dramatically increasing budgetary constraints, then that's another part.
Right, those are savings in themselves.
Howland Enfield issue.
Yep.
Okay.
Ryan Pelletier is going to speak at MMA next month about regional collaborations. So.
He and Jim Daly are on the, there's a couple things. I'm going down, in fact.
Right here, right in Bangor.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
That's the Maine Municipal Convention. And to their credit, we've had several conversations about MMA, the county organizations getting together to talk about collaborative efforts, and they are receptive. They've just got to get the green light from their ledge council and executive committee.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting back to our regularly scheduled agenda, since I've taken us off track.
In your packet, I have a memorandum, we did our insurance broker RFP.
Yes.
I did extend the period for approval only because they were many more RFPs returned than I expected. It took me a little bit longer to review, and I wanted to be sure that we were doing the right thing. So we had 5 responses. After a brief review of each of the 5, I was able to weed out 3, who also happened to be the highest 3.
Okay.
And narrowed it down to 2.
Okay.
I've narrowed it down to Acadia Benefits, which was the low bidder at $60,000 per year.
Okay.
And Cross Insurance Agency, which is $67,200 annually. I am recommending Cross Insurance Agency. They work with City of Bangor and many other municipalities that have a very similar makeup of government employees with multiple unions, different levels of health care plans. They're aware of those complexities.
They use computers to process.
They do, they do. And they also work in rural areas of the county, like the hospital in Lincoln. And so they are familiar with the healthcare needs of our employees that do have those remote areas that they live and work in. They are heavy on the compliance aspect of their coverages, making sure that every benefit that we're offering is compliant with COBRA, FMLA, Medicare laws, which are some things that, we're not experts on. We have to do a lot of research. So I see a huge efficiency happening on the HR end with them taking over the compliance piece. They also have a team of 16 people that will be available to our employees. Commissioner Marshall has a question on a bill he received, you call it Cross Insurance. You're not gonna get passed around until you find one person that knows us. There's 16 dedicated people that are gonna be able to help Commissioner Marshall at the drop of a hat with any question he might have on a healthcare issue. And so while they're slightly higher than the low bidder, they are local. They all work here in Bangor. They live and work in our communities as well. My recommendation is that you accept the proposal for Cross Insurance Agency.
And they have offices in various parts of the county.
They do. Yes.
Questions?
And they do, one thing that I liked about theirs is they actually have a performance guarantee in their RFP. If we are not satisfied, we can cancel, and they will give us a 10% refund on the fees that they have received from us.
It sounds, I'm fine with it, sounds good. Right now, we don't pay directly, do we, to our broker? Does he get paid by Cigna and is worked into the payment?
Yeah, our current broker gets paid through fees that each benefit takes in from us. So you may not know is he gets paid commission through Cigna, through Delta Dental, through New York Life, and through the Standard. They all pay the broker direct.
So
we never see.
Where does that fee go now? What are they paying him? Where's that gonna go? Is it coming direct to us? I mean,
It will come
we saw a
direct to
very
us.
minimal increase. Is that figured in that they're not paying?
Yes.
Is that why it's so small? Because they deducted that amount?
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The original increase was 3.6, 3.54, whatever it is now, and so then, yes, now that we've made the decision, or we're looking to make the decision to go with a different broker, they eliminated the 3%.
And I think us being able to pay the broker directly really allows us to manage what we are paying our broker, and we see it frequently. It's not buried in some fee schedule that you never really see, and so you don't realize how big it gets with each increase year over year. So I think it's the right move for the county. So what I will end up needing to do, I'll work with Scott, is I'll have to include this 67.2 into my budget that I've already presented to you, but you've seen the reduction on your healthcare lines for each department.
Okay. So, for the follow-up, so if we're getting, say we're paying around a little over $3 million on annual premium, so 90,000 we're gonna not pay, and then, so, but this is 60-something thousand, the delta maybe 20-something, but that new program we wanna get, the idea was to fund it through this, it doesn't sound like there's enough money there to fund this new program we're talking about.
So I know with the Cigna portion of commission, for last year alone, it was about $162,000 paid to the broker.
But if they only cut 3%, there's out there something.
Yes, I think, well, it may not look it on paper because we don't see the fees from Cigna for the broker. I think there's more than ample funds. We're gonna be saving over $100,000 just on the medical piece, let alone the life insurance and those added benefits.
So we're through Cross, they would administer the New York Life policy as well.
They'll take over all of our benefits, all of those. Right now, those contracts, New York Life, Standard, and Delta, have already been negotiated for like, I think, a 3-year term.
Right.
So we're not gonna renegotiate, they'll still be paid through a fee schedule, but as those come due for renewal, I think my plan, and anyway, as long as Scott's on board, is to pull the fees out of the premiums so that we're paying directly as part of this. We can see it, we can manage it, we can negotiate directly with Cross if that gets too high. And there's no guaranteed increases, you know, the way that it's written now, if Cigna had a 10% increase this year, the broker would get that plus whatever their baseline is. I don't think it's necessary that we get a 10% increase to a broker every year.
So you are reducing some of the work that HR is now handling.
Yes.
In addition to reducing the overall cost obligation of the county. But we don't know for certain what that total cash savings would be.
I think unless Scott has some comments, I think it's hard to really analyze that because they've been buried in premiums and fees. So I don't know, but I can give you, Commissioner Trumbull, a static answer. I know that there's a 3% reduction in the Cigna. That is the fee that's assigned to the broker, the 3%, but it's 3% that's been compounded year over year. So really, the premium that our current broker is getting paid could very well be 20% of what we're paying annually.
So, did we take a vote yet? No.
No. And to answer the question, outside of the health insurance, I'm not aware at this time of what the broker is making off of those. But I would envision that working with our new broker, that as we go to a renewal of each one, that we would allow our new broker to handle that. And, you know, and it may be they find us a better vendor. You know, that's the intent of actually having an active broker. You know, not just for health insurance, but for the other ones as
A
well.
lot of those other insurances, even if they reduce them, it's not really money, it's just a reduction of what the employee's paying, it's not really a reduction to the county.
Well, it is, because the county's paying a portion of that money.
Well, not on dental and some of these other.
Not on dental, but we
Yeah,
actually
the other
pay
ones,
$18 a month on dental for all employees.
Right.
So that could change a little bit, but we do cover one standard life insurance policy for every employee. So if we get a good rate, that might reduce. Should you approve
I mean, if we
this?
could just get some kind of figure what the delta on the savings is, it would be helpful, make a decision.
Yeah, I think that the reality is that there's a challenge for our current broker. Correct. So we need to make a change. The question is, are we prepared to go with HR's recommendation?
Yeah, I would move that. My only issue is, that I'm talking about now, is how we're gonna, there's another part to this, and I'm just worried about how we're gonna fund that. So I'm fine, I would move forward with cross insurance.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. We need some harder numbers before we get into HR's budget finally. But for the insurance part, you've done very good work, and I think we're ready today. We've got a motion, do we have a second? So I have a motion and a second to approve transferring to Cross Insurance as our contracted agent for health insurance and associated policies.
And I do, just to change that officially with our vendors, I have 4 letters, but I would request the 3 of you sign after the meeting today, so I can get those off to the benefit vendors.
Yes, you want to hand them to us now, or just process while we're listening to.
There's lines for signature and date next to it.
This is a great job you've done, you and your staff. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else in the HR front?
No, only to add that when I do my budget revisions, which will include this, Scott also pointed out, I'll be doing a revision to the HRIS. I was not really aware of county practice prior to where I'll break that number out so that it can be lower in my budget and maybe adding some HRIS budgeted funds from every department that will have access to use it for their tracking purposes.
Did you clarify on this? You need this dated as well? The
If you
letter
want me
has
to
a
blank,
date.
I can date it for you, that's fine, just for the sake of time.
So,
All 4.
That's all I have.
Just to follow up on that, so what you've seen in the budget so far for health insurance, I am now that you've approved it, well, once we approve the renewal, actually, then I'll be able to go back in and make some further adjustments downward that will reflect it. But I wanted to get a number first so that I could show you the difference as to what,
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
And I won't be able to do that until I have all the departments in, so.
Administrator Adkins, I believe it is now your opportunity.
Real quick, I forwarded an email on the update on the new facility, discussion. I believe it's November 14th, middle of November. We're supposed to be getting a reply from the designer.
Okay.
I believe it's the first draft. So I think at that point, that kind of segues into a lot of things, finalizing the draft. Coming up, maybe, hopefully at that point, we get an estimated.
We are
see if we can.
Thick of the budget period at that point too.
Correct.
So maybe it would behoove us to have a little conversation today about scheduling conflicts for November, so you can figure out when we're gonna do the budget hearing and when people are available for any additional meetings you feel we need to have to finalize the budget.
Yeah, so I'm on vacation on the 15th, so I'm not sure that would be
November.
of October.
Okay.
So I'm not sure that that's our next schedule, although we meet next on the 1st. I have a few budgets left to present then. The 15th, unless the commission objects, October, for a commissioner meeting,
Oh,
yeah,
I thought you said scheduled budget meeting.
yeah.
Well, we're looking at building up to that.
Right.
And there's a potential that we may need an additional meeting, workshop
Yeah,
on the budget.
I think we do. So, yeah, so just to kind of head that way is that I would either some of the last 2 weeks of October, 22nd or 29th.
Have to be the 29th, 22nd, I'm gonna be maybe out of the country.
Oh, okay, I was thinking one of those weeks there was an issue, but,
So we're looking at a budget workshop. It doesn't have to be Wednesday, but that
Nope.
seems to be most appropriate for everyone.
29th,
Is there any reason you have to be in Bangor that week other than Wednesday?
I will be gone, the 21st through the 25th.
Okay. So
The
I
29th
guess
works.
we can stay with the 29th then. Yeah, I'm gone the 30th, so the 29th would be best for me, if that's good for you. Okay, the budget workshop,
yep, 10 o'clock, the usual time, or do you wanna,
well, is that a,
we can use the
Perfect.
third floor if,
I
yeah.
can, anytime's fine with me. We
You
move
wanna-
it early if we
You wanna
want.
go for 9?
I'm gonna go early.
Okay,
When you say early, what do you mean? 8 o'clock?
yeah, eight's too early, I gotta let us get in and get settled, and, yeah.
I'll have to get up the day before, you know?
Okay.
okay, so 9 AM on the 29th, we will do a budget workshop.
Yep.
Okay.
So, preliminary reports are, the sheriff's budgets are looking pretty cool. Was that the word you used? Not a whole lot of special requests in there. Is what are you comfortable in presenting on the 15th, even if I'm remote?
Yes.
Because that's gonna be a first review. We're gonna have to do another hard review after that, and I will be here for that 29th. But I think it would be better if you saw it at least and had a first discussion. Then that would be much better prepared for the 29th.
Okay,
Good?
I'm good with that. You all good with that?
And then I think we're looking at our budget meeting. Oh, just, we're usually within that second Tuesday,
So are you still talking October?
November.
November. We're gonna meet the 5th. We're gonna meet on the 5th, 10 AM on the 5th. Oh, no,
The second Tuesday?
Yes.
no, first Tuesday of November.
Yeah, the first Tuesday, typically, well, last year we were a little bit later, and I think with the way things are this year, I think we ought to, yeah. I think what'd you say, the 17th?
We talked about the week of the 17th.
Yeah, that makes sense, November.
You wanna go on Tuesday, the 18th?
That works for me.
Just with everything going on,
Instead of the 19th?
correct.
We can have Tuesdays because sometimes there's municipal conflicts on Wednesday nights
Right.
and municipal
Yeah,
meetings.
Monday and Wednesday are not good nights for a lot of folks.
Do you want
Tuesday or
to-
Thursday
Do
seems
you
to
have
be
a preferred
better.
time on the 18th? 10 AM is it?
No, that's usually done,
Usually 5
in the
o'clock.
evening, 5 o'clock, yeah,
Usually 5 to,
yeah.
quick,
Try to get
quick, so you know.
On the 18th is what time?
5 o'clock,
5 PM?
Do you think we could find a suitable location to provide us with catering for
I
that?
doubt it.
probably not.
Yeah.
I've got sodas, so we'll be all set.
At the
Well,
jail.
depends what happens tomorrow.
It's not, no, it's-
We'll
You wanna go
likely,
to jail, we can just,
we'll
right?
likely be using the third floor for that.
All right, I think that's it for that, because we've got people waiting for grievances,
Yes, and we
including our
have
own,
the sheriff as well.
including our own attorney, yep.
So do you have anything further on your administrative report?
Yeah, the Cigna renewal,
Okay.
which again is less than 1%. I think based on this year, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't sign it.
Any questions?
See if they can hold that for 3 years and I'll approve it.
Okay.
Yep,
Good
we'll
luck
get a
with that.
motion and a,
So do we have a motion to accept Cigna's proposal for the coming year? Have a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, further discussion. We appreciate the work you did to get us here, so thank you for that.
oh yeah,
And
fast.
this is the year where we continue to make a contribution to the HSA of $1,000.
Well, in some instances, it'll go to, in 26, it'll go to only half. For the most part, it's still a full amount.
Okay.
Is that 1,000 or 3,000?
Well, it depends, you got a 2 and a 4, depending on the plan. Single plan is 2, everybody else is 4.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, okay. All right.
All right,
Thank you.
you wanna entertain the sheriff's
At this point,
SRT request?
yes. Sheriff, if
quickly?
you would like to come forward with your brief and logical proposal.
Very brief.
Yep.
As you know, you set aside all these monies from ARPA to the SRT fund, and we told you, as opposed to just not spending it, that we did it in sections based on some capital needs to go along. By the way, that's why the actions that the commissioners have taken have dramatically helped law enforcement budget. You can see that when we bring that forward, because you help offset some of those future capital costs by buying some of these things. You're going to see the result in about weeks. So with that being said, we had only used 1/4 of that allocation, so I have 2 that I'd like to bring in front of you today to add. You've already approved the amounts. These are just for these specific purchases. One is the upgrade for, most of it is winterized equipment for the SRT team in the amount of $32,900 and change. I'd ask that you approve that. Again, I don't know if you have to vote, because you've already approved the funds. Scott and I talked, Commissioner Administrator Atkins and I talked about just bringing these forward each time, as opposed to just.
Yeah,
I mean, it's within
they
the
were
allocated
returned.
funds.
Right, but at that point, you would wanted them to come back and vote to approve it,
Because
so.
we didn't want to do lump sum all in one
Correct.
year.
Correct.
Yeah, I would move approval of the items to be purchased as presented,
Have a motion?
using ARPA funds.
Have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
It is unanimous, the budget is present.
And this uses about a little bit more than half of the 100,000.
And then one more piece on that is, although this was not specifically targeted in that original request, I had a request that I would like to take out of this that actually involves the jail, so we don't pass that off onto the jail budget, which is one of the most challenging. There's a purchase that involves equipment and clothing for corrections. I'd like to take it out of this same funding source. Again, that way we're not passing it on to additional increase in the budget for next year. That amount is $7,000. And part of this was in an exchange of, we ran out of, as you know, we changed over black uniforms. I wish we could have stayed traditional brown forever. Just in the manufacturers, we couldn't get 2 browns that were sent to us in the same color. It just seemed like black was always there, it was always the same, it was cheaper, and so we actually changed out uniforms. We did that with corrections as well. Unfortunately, the first pant that we bought, that we tried, didn't work for a lot of reasons, and so we're lucky that we didn't purchase them all out. We usually buy one set and then we start. We learned that this wasn't working. So yeah, again, the request is $7,000. Again, it comes out of that total amount that you've already allocated. Although you specifically asked about SRT, this is not direct to the SRT, but it's not going to go over any of the amounts that you've already approved.
So it's,
Yeah, I would move approval, although these types of things, it's only 7,000, but generally would not like to us fund these without, because it's a recurring budget item. And if it was one-time money, but it's only 7,000, I'm
Yeah,
fine with
and
it.
we've allocated this, and if I understand correctly, you're below what was allocated for uniform.
Yeah, and I think Commissioner, I'm with you 100%. The only difference in this, where I think what made sense in the ARPA one is when you do those, it's like the buy-in when you're starting a new program.
Oh, right, so you
You
didn't buy
reset
everything
it,
at once.
and then moving forward,
buy
we're
all
okay,
that.
because we know each year you only trade out one pair of pants for a person and one shirt for a different person.
Yeah.
So we'll be fine. It's when you do, like this one was like a new program,
Yeah,
because we had to change out the
Yeah.
stuff. And so you won't keep having those big.
okay.
So
I move to.
do we have a motion to approve the 7,000 and a second? Further discussion? Hearing none, all those say aye.
Aye.
That's it, Commissioners. Thank you very much. I enjoyed your conference. Picked up a couple of numbers while we were down there, sent back some information to talk about how some of their vendors might be able to help us here in the county.
So far, my anecdotal feedback from many people I've talked to is one of their favorite sessions was Friday morning practice. They really thought they got a lot out of that, so please extend
Of the what?
Friday morning, your presentation.
Your presentation, I
Oh,
attended
of
that.
course, I thought
That was very well
They
received.
had eggs on Friday, that's what they liked.
It was very well received.
I thought it was a
I
breakfast.
thought you were talking about the speaker.
Yeah. We have one other item, the warrants. I move approval of the warrants as listed in the agenda.
Have a motion for approval of the warrants. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please. And those warrants are published in the PSP. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is unanimous, and now we would move on to, do we still have 3 executive sessions? We have 1 executive session.
I move we move to a executive session.
Mr.
We
Haney?
have one, but we need to formalize.
So we have 2 that are related to grievances.
There are 3 grievances, and 2 of them have been settled, but we need to just probably put on the record, so.
So we'll go into executive session for the matter of, for 3 personnel matters. As noted in our agenda. The motion was made by Commissioner Marshall, seconded by Commissioner Trumbull. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. We will take a very brief break for some of us, and then we'll come back.
Okay. I think the greatest part of that breakfast was the guy that won the basket. Wow, wasn't that?
That was
What
great.
do you think?
Wasn't it the biggest one too?
Oh,
It was the heaviest, I'm telling you that. That sucker was.
I'm gonna be honest.
Hey,
A rooster,
I got
a
the
rooster is
potato.
always good.
I'm gonna be
I got
honest.
the
Some nice giveaways.
Wow, you,
Sorry, guys.
I like
well, they haven't caught up.
Yeah, that's.
Is that?
Haven't caught up, but yeah, I'm okay.